Chapter 2295. The upper echelons of the small world all wanted to know how to get to the grand pure sky domain. This was not the way to go. The cultivation resources in this small world were getting fewer and fewer, and it was difficult for powerhouses to be born. If the foreign races found it, it would be destroyed sooner or later. Only going to the grand pure sky domain was the best plan. In ancient times, when the foreign races invaded, not everyone retreated. Many did not have time to retreat and stayed in the myriad spirit sky domain. This was the case in this small world. Unfortunately, they did not get anything from Lu Ming. They only knew the current situation of the grand pure sky domain. Next, Lu Ming stayed here and cultivated in peace. Every day, he would enter the mountain river diagram and comprehend the laws under the Enlightenment Ancient Tree. Now, the Enlightenment Ancient Tree had grown to 50 meters tall, but compared to the mature Enlightenment Ancient Tree, the effect was much worse. But it was better than nothing. However, after cultivating for a few months, Lu Ming did not break through other laws. He was still at the peak of the second realm. It was not that easy to break through to the third realm. During this period, Ren Chan would spar with Lu Ming from time to time. In this small world, Ren Chan was undoubtedly invincible among her peers. Now that there was Lu Ming, who was about the same age as her, but his combat strength was far above hers, she naturally looked for Lu Ming often. After a while, the two became very familiar with each other. On this day, Ren Chan came to look for Lu Ming again. Lu Ming, we plan to go out and go to the Thousand Spirit Mountain to pick some spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. Do you want to go with us? Ren Chan said. Thousand Spirit Mountain? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Yes, the Thousand Spirit Mountain is the most famous mountain in the myriad spirit sky domain. There are endless spiritual herbs and sacred herbs growing in the Thousand Spirit Mountain. Moreover, the Thousand Spirit Mountain contains sacred soil, which is very suitable for the growth of sacred herbs and spiritual herbs. Our first goal this time is to bring back some spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. In this small world, there is a serious shortage of spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. Many low-level martial artists lack spiritual herbs and sacred herbs for cultivation. If the conditions allow, it would be best if we can dig out some sacred soil from the Thousand Spirit Mountain. We can grow a large number of spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. Ren Chan explained. All right, I'll go. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, Myriad Spirit Mountain isn't like other places. Although our spiritual herbs and sacred herbs aren't very useful to the outsiders, they don't want us to get them. Therefore, Myriad Spirit Mountain has a large number of experts guarding it. It's very dangerous. If you don't want to go, I won't force you. Ren Chan said. It's fine. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming also wanted to go out and temper himself. Otherwise, his cultivation progress would be slow. Moreover, Lu Ming had killed a large number of foreign tribes in the True Emperor battlefield and obtained many black crystals that were unique to the foreign tribes. Over the past few months, Lu Ming had taken the time to let the Sky Emperor's body absorb a large number of crystals. The energy stored in the Sky Emperor's body had once again reached about 30%. With the Sky Emperor's body, the self-preservation ability of the Sky Emperor's body was much stronger. All right, we'll be leaving soon. Let's go together. Ren Chan smiled and came to a square with Lu Ming. There were already a few people gathered here. This time, they had sent out quite a number of experts, including 5 martial monarchs. There was definitely a great emperor guarding Myriad Spirit Mountain. Without a great emperor, they wouldn't be able to get the spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. Almost everyone is here. Let's go. An old man with almost all his hair falling out said. He was a high elder of the minor world. He was an expert in the great emperor realm. Lu Ming understood that there was a heavenly emperor guarding this minor world. However, he was in seclusion and didn't come out. Therefore, a high elder was the highest level. This time, a high elder led the team with 5 great emperors as support. The rest were all true emperors. There were more than 100 people. This was already a very powerful force. They went out of the minor world's exit and carefully left the land of dusk, heading in a certain direction. Myriad Spirit Mountain was located at the center of the Myriad Forest land. It was the most famous sacred ground in the Myriad Spirit Land. It was said that the Myriad Spirit Land's name came from Myriad Spirit Mountain. In the primordial era, before the foreign races invaded the Myriad Spirit Land, it was prosperous to the extreme. The strongest sect in the Myriad Spirit domain, the Myriad Spirit sect, was guarding Myriad Spirit Mountain. Later, the foreign races invaded and the Myriad Spirit sect was destroyed. Myriad Spirit Mountain was also occupied by the foreign races. They moved forward very carefully and didn't meet any foreign races along the way. According to Renchan, the number of foreign races in the Myriad Spirit domain had suddenly decreased in the past 10 years. The number of foreign races guarding various places had also decreased sharply. That was why they dared to come out and obtain resources. In the past, they wouldn't have dared to think about Myriad Spirit Mountain. As the number one sacred ground in the Myriad Spirit domain, there were many foreign race experts guarding it. However, in recent years, the number of foreign races on Myriad Spirit Mountain had decreased by a lot. Is it because of the attack on the Grand Pure Domain? Lu Ming guessed. There were a total of 2 battlefields in the Grand Pure Domain. In the past 10 years, both had been attacked by the foreign races. Perhaps the foreign races had transferred their experts from other domains to the battlefield in the Grand Pure Domain. That was why their numbers had decreased. That was very likely. It took them more than half a month to reach the vicinity of Myriad Spirit Mountain. In front of them, there were towering mountains that towered into the clouds. However, there was one mountain that was the most majestic among them. It stood out among the mountains like a crane in a flock of chickens. That was Myriad Spirit Mountain. The origin chi here was so dense that it had turned into mist. Renchan, check it out. Elder Yuan ordered. Renchan nodded and then began to check through the flowers and trees. Soon, Renchan finished and said, "There are 4 very powerful auras. They should all be emperors." "For emperors? Good." Elder Yuan was delighted and said, "Wait a moment. We'll attack and restrain the enemy emperors. You guys take the opportunity to rush in and pick the sacred herbs. It would be best if you can dig up some sacred soil." After Elder Yuan finished speaking, he looked at the other 4 emperors and nodded silently. Then they rushed out together. The 5 martial monarchs rushed toward the 1,000-spirit mountain. Their terrifying auras immediately startled the non-humans. Bush, 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 bush. For beams of light immediately burst out from the 10,000 spirits mountain. They were all martial monarch realm experts, who engaged in a fierce battle with the 5 elders. "Let's go," someone said. They rushed towards Myriad Spirit Mountain at full speed. When they got close to Myriad Spirit Mountain, they split up into groups and spread out. They split up and entered Myriad Spirit Mountain to pick spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. Then they would gather outside. Their main purpose was to pick spiritual herbs and sacred herbs, not to fight with the enemy. More than 50 people were divided into more than a dozen groups and rushed towards Myriad Spirit Mountain in different directions. Lu Ming and Renchan were in a group. They followed the forest and rushed towards Myriad Spirit Mountain. Boom! Boom! Chapter 2296. In other directions, they had already encountered the evil god tribe and started a fierce battle. However, they had Renchan could sense the enemy's aura through the plants. Therefore, they had perfectly avoided the evil god tribe. Not long after, they successfully entered the depths of 1,000 Spirit Mountain. Here, the origin chi was extremely rich and the grass was green. From time to time, one could see spiritual herbs or sacred herbs among the grass. "Hurry up and pick them," Renchan shouted. The few of them took action. In a flash, they picked all the spiritual herbs and sacred herbs, not leaving a single one behind. There were too many spiritual herbs and sacred herbs here. The medicinal fragrance was so rich that it could not be dispersed. Every few steps, there would be spiritual herbs or sacred herbs. That is, suddenly, Lu Ming saw a herb. It was crystal clear and emitted a little luster. The medicinal fragrance was much stronger than the other spiritual herbs and sacred herbs. "This is the arch herb." Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He did not expect to see the arch herb before reaching the main peak of 1,000 Spirit Mountain. Spiritual herbs were very useful for those below the martial sage realm. As for sacred herbs, they were very useful for martial sages. As for the arch herbs, as the name suggested, they corresponded to martial emperors. As a matter of fact, the Tree of Enlightenment was considered a monarch herb, a top-tier one at that. Lu Ming rushed over and condensed his power of the world into a shovel. He dug out the arch herb and put it away. Swoosh, swoosh. The few of them were astonishingly fast. Everywhere they passed, all the spiritual herbs, sacred herbs, and the arch herbs were dug out. This was a rare opportunity. It was rare that the number of foreign tribes decreased. If the number of foreign tribes increased in the future, there would not be such an opportunity. Therefore, they naturally had to take the opportunity to dig out more herbs. In a moment, Lu Ming dug out hundreds of herbs of different grades. He even dug out 3 the arch herbs. At this time, the 3 of them had arrived at the real Thousand Spirit Mountain. There is sacred ground in Thousand Spirit Mountain. This is the most precious. Let's dig. Ren Chan and the others' eyes lit up. Their power of the world turned into hoes and dug into the ground. Bang, bang, bang. The hard rocks were broken. Not long after, they lifted the surface of the Thousand Spirit Mountain. Instantly, a 5-colored light filled the air. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly widened. Beneath the rocks of Myriad Spirit Mountain, there was a type of soil with 5 different colors. This kind of soil was like mud. It was not hard, but looked very soft and could even move. Ren Chan and the others condensed their power of the realm into giant hands and grabbed at the 5-colored soil. However, they could only grab a small piece each time. So troublesome. Can't you just take it away? Lu Ming took out a storage ring and wanted to take away the entire Thousand Spirit Mountain, but it was useless. Then, Lu Ming wanted to collect the 5-colored soil, but it was useless. Lu Ming, it's no use. There's no way you can take away this holy soil. Even if you use your minor world, it's useless. You can only dig it out bit by bit. Ren Chan informed. Lu Ming felt helpless. Following that, he also condensed a huge hand with the power of his world and grabbed down. However, the 5-colored soil seemed to be one. It was incomparably sticky and could not be grabbed at all. Every time, he could only grab a little bit. Compared to the huge Thousand Spirit Mountain, it was only a hair from 9 oxen. This is too slow. Even if we dig for a few days, we can't dig out much 5-colored soil. I wonder if the Tree of Enlightenment will work? Lu Ming sighed. Then his eyes lit up. This 5-colored soil had an amazing spirituality. The spiritual herbs, sacred herbs, and emperor herbs near Thousand Spirit Mountain could be nurtured because of this 5-colored soil. If Lu Ming had a large amount of 5-colored soil, his Tree of Enlightenment would definitely be able to grow quickly. The few of them seized the time and dug quickly. But not long after, they were still discovered by the foreign races. It's the remnants of the heaven realm. More than a dozen foreign races charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Their aura was very shocking. Ren Chan and the others were about to fight. Leave these foreign races to me. I'll lure them away. You guys continue to dig the 5-colored soil and the herbs. Having said that, Lu Ming rushed toward the foreign races. The infinite dragon spear condensed in his hand and attacked the foreign races. Bush, bush. Lu Ming stabbed out with several spear lights. They broke through the void and attacked the foreign races. Among the alien races, there was an extremely burly alien race who brandished a huge spiked mace and blocked Lu Ming's spear gleams one by one. 17th level True Emperor. Lu Ming's heart moved. The strongest foreign race had the strength of a 17th level True Emperor. Lu Ming did not fight head-on. Instead, he used his 6-feathered divine wings. With a flap of his wings, Lu Ming's body turned into a phantom and went around the foreign race to kill the other foreign races. A spear light flashed and a foreign race with the strength of a 12th level True Emperor was killed by Lu Ming. Then, with a sweep of the spear, another foreign race with the strength of a 14th level True Emperor was sent flying. His body almost exploded as he vomited blood. Courting death. The foreign race with the strength of a 17th level True Emperor was furious. Lu Ming dared to kill his people in front of him. He couldn't care less about Ren Chan and the others. He only wanted to kill Lu Ming. He charged at Lu Ming, but Lu Ming turned around and fled in another direction. After him, the foreign race leader roared and led the other foreign races to chase after Lu Ming. Given Lu Ming's current strength and the six-feathered divine wings, his speed was slightly faster than that of a level 17 true emperor. However, Lu Ming was not in a hurry to shake off the other party. He deliberately slowed down a little so that the other party felt that he could catch up with him. Thus, the foreign races chased after Lu Ming and arrived in another direction of Myriad Spirit Mountain. This is it. Lu Ming suddenly stopped. Brat, now that you know you can't escape, die. The foreign races charged at Lu Ming. I'll send you all on your way. Lu Ming took out the fallen star bow and shot an arrow. Boom. The 17th Order True Emperor was heavily injured and coughed out blood. His eyes were filled with fear. Then, Lu Ming shot another arrow and killed the alien race. Bush. 2 more arrows killed 2 more foreign races with the strength of a 16th level True Emperor. The remaining foreign races were shocked and wanted to escape. Lu Ming put away the fallen star bow and used the 6-feathered divine wings to chase after them. The strongest among them were only 15th level True Emperors. They weren't Lu Ming's match and weren't as fast as Lu Ming. It didn't take long before all the foreign races were killed by Lu Ming. With a wave of his hands, he put away the storage rings and crystal cores of all the alien races. Lu Ming landed on Thousand Spirit Mountain, chose a spot, and broke open the rocks, revealing the 5-colored soil inside. Look at the Enlightenment ancient tree. With a thought, Lu Ming entered the mountain river diagram. The tree of enlightenment was rooted on a mountain peak in the mountain river diagram. Lu Ming smashed the mountain peak and pulled out the tree of enlightenment. Lu Ming's figure reappeared on Thousand Spirit Mountain, and he placed the tree of enlightenment into the 5-colored soil. Chapter 2297. When Lu Ming placed the tree of enlightenment on the 5-colored soil, a shocking scene happened. The roots of the tree of enlightenment grew crazily and drilled into the 5-colored soil. The roots grew too quickly. Some of them drilled into the soil, while others grew outside. They followed the 5-colored soil and wrapped up a large area of 5-colored soil. At this moment, the tree of enlightenment began to grow rapidly. Its leaves spread out, and its branches grew longer and thicker. The entire tree of enlightenment was growing at an extremely fast rate. The tree of enlightenment was originally 50 meters tall. Soon, it grew to 60 meters, 65 meters, 70 meters. Lu Ming was overjoyed. It was indeed a sacred soil. The effect of growing plants was amazing. Lu Ming cultivated the tree of enlightenment for decades and spent a lot of resources to grow it to 50 meters tall. But now, it grew nearly 50 meters in just a moment. The roots were still growing crazily, as if they were going to wrap all the 5-colored soil. After a while, the tree of enlightenment had grown to an astonishing height of 100 meters. At this moment, there was a flash of light in the distance. An expert was here. Keep. Lu Ming hugged the tree of enlightenment and used the power of the small world to envelop the tree of enlightenment. Rumble. The tree of enlightenment was uprooted and moved toward Lu Ming's small world. Those roots were like countless claws. They grabbed a large amount of 5-colored soil and moved it toward the small world. Rumble. About 1/10 of the 5-colored soil in the entire Thousand Spirit Mountain had been brought along by the tree of enlightenment into Lu Ming's small world. There was too much 5-colored congealed soil. If they were to dig slowly like that, they did not know how long it would take them to dig. We've made a fortune this time. Lu Ming was overjoyed. With so much 5-colored soil, he didn't know how many herbs he could cultivate. Moreover, the tree of enlightenment didn't need to buy any spiritual liquid to water it. With so much 5-colored soil, it would grow at an amazing speed. Human, die. In the distance, there was a loud roar. Some foreign races rushed over. Lu Ming used the 6-feathered divine wings and left in a flash. Not long after, Lu Ming shook off the foreign races and entered Thousand Spirit Mountain. He crazily picked spiritual herbs, sacred herbs, and imperial herbs. They agreed that they had to leave this place in 2 hours and meet up at the corresponding location. Lu Ming continued to pluck. He had plucked at least thousands of medicinal herbs of various levels. At this moment he met Ren Chan and the group again. Ren Chan and the group were being chased by a few foreign tribes. Lu Ming took out the fallen star bow and killed the foreign tribes. Then, they continued to pick herbs. Soon, 2 hours were almost up. They could only stop and rush out of Thousand Spirit Mountain. With Ren Chan's senses, they only encountered a group of outsiders on the way, but they managed to avoid them. They flew all the way and soon arrived at a secluded valley. I wonder how the others. Ren Chan was a little worried. Not long after, a group of 4 people came, but they all suffered different degrees of injuries. As soon as they arrived, they circulated their qi to heal their injuries. Not long after, more people came. Half an hour later, only about 30 people came. When they came, there were more than 50 people, but now only about 30 people returned. Everyone's expression was a little ugly. Those who did not come were most likely dead. Swoosh, swoosh. The void moved, and 5 figures appeared. They were Elder Yuan and the other 4 thearchs. Let's go back. Elder Yuan ordered. Elder Yuan, where are the others? Should we wait a little longer? Someone said. There's no need to wait. Let's go. Elder Yuan sighed. The others showed a trace of sadness. Judging from Elder Yuan's words, the others were most likely dead. They were helpless. Now that the foreign races had occupied the entire myriad forest heavenly realm, they were like turtles in a jar. They had to hide all day and face danger at all times. They did not know when they would die in the hands of the foreign races. If only they could go to the grand pure celestial realm. Someone sighed. The news of the attack on Myriad Spirit Mountain spread quickly. The foreign races in the Myriad Spirit heavenly realm were shaken, and they were hunting Lu Ming and the others everywhere. Along the way, they were cautious. Relying on Ren Chan's senses, they successfully avoided the foreign races. More than 10 days later, they returned to the small world. After returning to the small world, they handed over the spiritual herbs and 5-colored soil to the Elder Yuan of the small world for him to distribute. Lu Ming also handed over some. However, Lu Ming only handed over a little of the 5-colored soil. As for the spiritual herbs, sage herbs, and the arch herbs, Lu Ming handed over 80%. He kept a few hundred stalks for himself and planned to plant them in the small world. Little brother Lu Ming, you can keep your spiritual herbs and sage herbs for yourself. An Elder Yuan smiled. After all, Lu Ming was not from this small world. They were already very grateful that he went on an adventure with them. It's fine. These spiritual herbs and sage herbs are not of much use to me. Elder Yuan, I want to collect some spiritual herb seeds or plant seeds. Lu Ming smiled. Okay, I'll send them to you in 2 days. Elder Yuan said. After that, Lu Ming returned to his residence. As soon as he entered, Lu Ming's mind moved, and a body condensed in his small world. This was not Lu Ming's real body, but a body condensed from soul power. In Lu Ming's small world, Lu Ming was a god. He could control everything because the laws of this small world were under his control. Soul power condensed in his small world was no different from a physical body. Lu Ming took a step forward and came to a plain. The plain was incomparably vast, and the Enlightenment ancient tree was rooted here. Under the roots, there was colorless soil. In more than 10 days, the Enlightenment ancient tree had grown a lot taller. Of course, it did not grow as fast as when it first obtained the 5-colored soil. It had stabilized. However, the height of the Enlightenment ancient tree had reached 200 meters. The leaves were sparkling and resplendent, with the aura of the great Tao lingering around. Comprehending the Tao here was much faster than outside. At that moment, Lu Ming dug out some colorless congealed soil from under the tree of enlightenment and placed it in other places. He then planted the remaining hundreds of sacred herbs and spirit herbs in various places. A newly evolved small world had no life or vegetation, so he had to add them himself. At the Emperor realm, he could evolve life, but it would take a long time. Adding them himself was the fastest way. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. 3 days later, Elder Yuan sent people to deliver various spiritual herbs and plant seeds. Lu Ming scattered these seeds all over the small world. This way, after some time, these seeds would take root and sprout, and the small world would be filled with vitality. Chapter 2298. Time flew by in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming cultivated in this small world, sometimes sparring with Ren Chan, and sometimes going out with them to obtain resources. Soon 2 years had passed. In the first year, Lu Ming went out with Ren Chan and the others frequently, but in the second year, they rarely went out. Because in the second year, the number of foreign races in the myriad spirit sky domain increased again, and the number of experts increased by a lot. Lu Ming guessed that the foreign races did not attack the grand pure sky domain anymore, but retreated instead. Moreover, during this time, the number of foreign races in the Land of Dusk had increased by a lot. In the entire myriad spirit sky domain, only the Land of Dusk had not been occupied by the foreign races. Clearly, the foreign races were very curious about this land, and had dispatched a large number of experts to conquer the Land of Dusk. During this time, the foreign races had been constantly attacking the Land of Dusk. The entire Land of Dusk was filled with thunderous rumbles as the foreign races bombarded the land, destroying the Earth's structure and destroying the energy field here. After the foreign races paid a price, they indeed destroyed a lot of the Land of Dusk's structure, forcibly opening a safe path. On the small world side, they were constantly paying attention, sending people to inquire about the situation outside, because this was related to their survival. If the Land of Dusk was completely conquered by the foreign races, their small world would most likely be found by the foreign races. Not long after, a shocking piece of news came. The foreign races had attacked deep into the Land of Dusk, but they were met with a terrifying attack. In the Land of Dusk's depths, some kind of terrifying life form had awakened and attacked the foreign races, starting a terrifying war. On that day, in the Land of Dusk's depths, thunderous roars resounded, as if a great ancient beast had awakened. In that battle, the foreign races suffered a great loss, and a large number of experts died inside. It was said that there were heavenly Emperor Realm experts who fell inside. The foreign races retreated in defeat, retreating to the Land of Dusk's depths. Ren Chan, Lu Ming, and the others were incomparably shocked when they heard this. What was in the Land of Dusk's depths? Even heavenly Emperor Realm existences had fallen inside. It was too shocking. My strength is still not enough. I need to continue improving my battle strength. Lu Ming muttered under his breath, condensing his soul into a physical body and entering his own small world. He came to the Enlightenment Ancient Tree to comprehend the laws. Comprehending laws did not require a physical body, his souls of the eye. Right now, his main goal was to comprehend the laws of life. In the past 2 years, he had only broken through to the 3rd level of the Law of Tools. Moreover, he had refined the remaining Chaos Stones to reach peak 4-star True Emperor. As for the Law of Life, it was on the verge of a breakthrough. This was because his comprehension of the indestructible ancient scripture, life law, and tools law was faster than other laws. This time, his cultivation went very smoothly. The law of life was already at the limit of breaking through. A few days later, Lu Ming successfully broke through, breaking through to the 3rd level of the law of life. In this way, Lu Ming's 3 supreme laws had reached the 3rd level. In addition, the devouring law, tools law, and array law were also at the 3rd level. Only the laws of alchemy, the laws of force, and the laws of penetration were still at the 2nd level. With Lu Ming's peak 4-star cultivation, Lu Ming's battle prowess had reached the limit of 17th level. As long as he had one more law or became a 5-star true emperor, his battle prowess would reach the 18th level. The battle prowess of a peak true emperor wasn't something that just anyone could achieve. There was a strict rule that required one to grasp a supreme law and 8 other monarch laws at the 3rd level to reach the peak of 7-star true emperor. This was the limit of a peak true emperor. Those who didn't grasp a supreme law couldn't reach the 18th level even if they reached the peak. At best, they could reach the 17th level. Some of them could only reach the 16th level at best. This was the reason why Lu Ming rarely met anyone at the 18th level. Most of them were in seclusion trying to break through to the Grand Emperor realm. Another reason was that they were rare. Lu Ming, on the other hand, had not reached the peak in terms of laws or cultivation, but he was close to attaining the combat power of a level 18 true emperor. If his cultivation and laws were at the peak, his combat power would be unimaginable. Of course, that didn't mean that one couldn't break through to the Grand Emperor realm before reaching the 18th level. Many people who didn't have a supreme law but had 9 of them at the peak could still try. They only needed one of the 9 laws to reach the Grand Emperor realm. Yes, one needed to grasp at least one monarch law in order to reach the Grand Emperor realm. This was why people with monarch physiques had the potential to reach the Grand Emperor realm. Rumble! Just as Lu Ming ended his cultivation and pondered, there was a sudden tremor. It was as if the entire world was shaking. What's going on? Lu Ming's expression changed. Rumble! The world was shaking more and more violently. The minor world is under attack. Everyone gather. A voice spread to every corner of the city. Lu Ming's expression changed. Did the outsiders find this minor world? Whoosh! Whoosh! In the huge city, countless figures flew into the sky and gathered outside the city walls. Lu Ming also flew over and saw Rin Chan and the others. Everyone's expression was ugly. They looked in the direction of the minor world's exit. The violent shaking came from that direction. Whoosh! Whoosh! Rays of light flew over from that direction. They were the experts guarding the exit. At this moment, they were panicking. The outsiders are attacking. Someone shouted. Many people's faces turned pale. They thought of the rumor that wherever the alien race went, they would leave nothing behind. How is this possible? How did the outsiders find the entrance? Someone shouted. After so many years, the outsiders hadn't found the entrance. How did they find it now? No matter what, prepare to meet the enemy. An old man with almost all his hair falling out said. He was one of the founding elders of the minor world. There were a total of 5 founding elders in the minor world. They were all extremely powerful grand emperors. Rumble! At this moment, a deafening roar came from the front. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were marching in the air. The void kept shaking. Then, a dark cloud rushed toward them. It wasn't a dark cloud, but the outsiders. Countless outsiders rode on all sorts of strange beasts, roaring as they charged over. Kill the remnants of the heavenly realm. Don't leave a single one alive. The outsiders roared and the strange beasts roared. They waved their weapons and rushed over. Let's kill them. Kill. One of the founding elders shouted. All the experts in the minor world gathered and rushed towards the outsiders. Lu Ming, Rin Chan, and the others followed the crowd and charged out. The two sides collided. Chapter 2299. Die. A long spear materialized in Lu Ming's hands. As the long spear pierced out, spear gleams shot out. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 foreign races were killed by Lu Ming. With Lu Ming's current battle prowess, he was practically unbeatable among true emperors. Even if he encountered an 18th level true emperor, he could still defeat them with the indestructible ancient scripture. Therefore, Lu Ming seemed to have entered a no-man's land. He did not put up any defenses at all. Instead, he attacked with all his might. Wherever Lu Ming went, outsiders fell to the ground like raindrops. However, there were simply too many outsiders. Their numbers were far greater than theirs, and they had far more experts as well. Miserable screams rose and fell. People from the heaven realm were also being killed one after another, falling here. This was especially true when it came to the battle between grand emperors. Heaven world was at a disadvantage. Some of their grand emperors had already fallen. The situation wasn't looking good for them. Die. An outsider with the battle prowess of an 18th level true emperor targeted Lu Ming and attacked Lu Ming. Boom, boom. Lu Ming and the outsider clashed repeatedly. Lu Ming ignored his own defense and attacked crazily. Lu Ming hit the opponent and the opponent hit Lu Ming in return. The two coughed out blood and retreated. However, Lu Ming had the indestructible avatar and his breakthrough in the law of life. The power of the indestructible ancient scripture was even more terrifying. Lu Ming's injuries healed rapidly. Lu Ming did not care about his injuries at all. He dashed toward the other party, fighting with all his might. The outsider roared and attacked Lu Ming with a ferocious expression. The two of them kept exchanging blows. After more than 10 consecutive moves, the alien was finally defeated. Lu Ming could recover quickly, but the other party could not. Die! Lu Ming became one with his spear and pierced through his opponent's head. An expert with the combat power of a level 18 true emperor was killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming was now at the peak of the true emperor realm. The power of the world swept the other party's corpse into his small world. Then, Lu Ming unleashed his 6-feathered divine wings and charged toward a member of the foreign race with the combat strength of a 17th-level true emperor. After a few moves, this alien was also killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's figure flickered as he focused on hunting the top emperors. For example, there were 16th-level true emperors and 17th-level true emperors. This way, Ren Chan and the others could finally catch their breaths. Go kill that brat. High up in the sky, an outsider Grand Emperor fixed his eyes on Lu Ming. There were more great emperors among the foreign races to begin with. They could easily pick out great emperors to do other things. Kill! An outsider Grand Emperor charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He was invincible among true emperors, but he was no match for a great emperor. Even the weakest great emperor could easily kill him. Lu Ming planned to use his heavenly emperor physique. Initially, there were too many experts from foreign tribes here. There were also quite a number of top-notch great emperors. Even if Lu Ming used the celestial emperor's body, it would not have much effect on the overall situation. Therefore, Lu Ming planned to use it at a critical moment. But now, he had no choice. Boom! Just as Lu Ming was about to use his heavenly emperor physique, a terrifying aura exploded from the depths of the minor world. It was the heavenly aura of the heavenly Tao. Heavenly Emperor! A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. It was said that there was a heavenly emperor hibernating in this minor world. It seemed to be true. Ancestor! The experts from the celestial world shouted excitedly. Bush, bush. In the depths of the small world, several beams of sword light shot out. Wherever the sword light passed, the space was torn apart, leaving hideous cracks. These sword lights were aimed at the great emperors. One of them was the one who wanted to attack Lu Ming. It's the Heavenly Emperor! The foreign race powerhouses roared loudly, retreating wildly in incomparable horror. But how could their speed compare to heavenly emperors? They could not retreat at all. Pork! Pork! Several foreign race great emperors were directly slain by several sword lights. Following that, a sword light flashed in the void. An old man with white hair and long robes appeared. This was this minor world's ancestor, a heavenly emperor, known as Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor. Clang! Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor emitted a shocking sword howl in his hand. Sword light burst forth, wanting to rush toward the foreign race great emperors again. But at this time, Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor's expression suddenly changed. His sword momentum changed, turning into a resplendent and enormous sword light, slashing toward a region of the void. Boom! That region of the void exploded. An enormous and boundless large hand appeared. The large hand was covered in purple scales, colliding together with the sword light. After a heaven-shocking rumble, the sword light dissipated. That large hand also shrunk back. On the large hand, several scales were chopped away, oozing a trace of fresh blood. Following that, the void trembled. A burly foreign race appeared in the air. This foreign race similarly emitted a terrifying pressure, not weaker than Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor. This was similarly a powerful Heavenly Emperor realm existence. I didn't expect that there's still a Heavenly Emperor realm fish that slipped through the net. Can't leave you alive. Today is the day of your death. The foreign race Heavenly Emperor opened his mouth coldly, charging toward Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor. Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor burst forth with resplendent sword light from his body, having a great battle with the other party. At the same time, a voice transmitted throughout the heavenly realm's people's ears. Don't linger in battle, rush out. Absolute Sword Heavenly Emperor's voice sounded out. Charge! 5 doyens, as well as other great emperor realm powerhouses, gathered with Lu Ming, they all, rushing to the forefront, charging out without regard for life or death. All stay behind for me. The foreign races roared loudly, launching a siege, not giving them a chance. You guys charge first. Must rush out. There were 2 doyens who roared loudly. Resplendent light suffused from their bodies, burning fiercely like flames. The 2 doyens were risking their lives here, burning their own source. Their strength skyrocketed, blocking a large swath of foreign race powerhouses. Doyens. Many people roared sorrowfully. Burning one's life source, one's life would definitely dry up after this, certain death. Charge. That doyen roared loudly. Charge out with us, kill. The remaining doyens, as well as great emperor realm powerhouses, brought everyone and attacked continuously. There were 2 doyens who risked their lives to stop. They finally broke through the heavy encirclement, rushing toward the small world's exit. At the back, the foreign races chased after with extreme speed. In the process of escaping, there were still people falling continuously. Very soon, they saw the small world's exit. At this time, the small world's exit was forcefully torn open by the foreign races, the exit expanding over 100 times. They directly rushed out. But after they rushed out, their expressions became even uglier. Ahead of them was a dense cluster of outsiders that formed an arc, surrounding the exit of the small world. Clearly, the foreign races came prepared. Furthermore, in front of the foreign races, they even saw 2 burly men. They were precisely the Heavenly Realms people. Lu Ming had even seen them before. These 2 burly men looked at Lu Ming, they all with a cold smile. Nangong Kong, it's you all. You all betrayed the small world, you all betrayed us. Someone roared loudly. Chapter 2300. Everyone's eyes were filled with killing intent as they stared at the 2 burly men. They had been betrayed. Hee hee. At that moment, the 2 burly men laughed sinisterly. Following that, a layer of black light emitted from their bodies. Then, the light began to distort. 2 black shadows emerged from their bodies. Beside them, 2 other figures appeared. They were like shadows. They've been possessed. One of the eminent elders said. They had not been betrayed. Instead, they had been captured by the other races when they went out to gather information. Then, they were possessed and found out the location of the entrance to the lesser worlds. At that moment, the 2 burly men came to their senses. When they saw Lu Ming and the others, they instantly understood that they had been used to find the entrance to the lesser worlds. Ah! The 2 of them roared. Their eyes were red as they turned around and pounced on the other races. They could not accept this. However, an Emperor Realm alien slapped out with 2 palms, killing the 2 burly men instantly. How dare you try to escape? Kill them. Don't let any of them go. One of the great emperors waved his hand. Immediately, the army of other races charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Charge out. One of the eminent elders roared as he charged forward. A chaotic battle broke out again. Both sides fought fiercely. However, the other races behind them charged toward them. Lu Ming and the others were no match for them at all. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming's eyes were bloodshot. He wielded his long spear and slaughtered the other races. His body was bathed in blood. Some of it was his own, and some of it was the other races. He continuously circulated the indestructible ancient scripture to heal his injuries. He was like a killing machine that would never tire. Lu Ming had lost count of how many other races he had killed, but the number of people around him kept decreasing. Ren Chan was also severely injured. If not for Lu Ming's protection, he would have died. Let's block them and let them charge out. We must charge out. A senior statesman roared as his body started to burn like a raging inferno. He was burning his life origin. He was not the only one. The other eminent elders, including the great emperors, were burning their life origin as well. Burning their life source, their fighting prowess skyrocketed. Finally, they managed to tear open a gap. Charge out. Ren Chan, you must survive. A grand elder roared. Ren Chan, Lu Ming, their talents were too good. They could not die here. Only by escaping would they have a chance to rise up in the future. Young people were the only hope. Doyen, elder, Rinchan lamented. It was the same for the others. The grand elders and elders were doing this to protect them. Otherwise, with their own battle prowess, their chances of escaping would be much higher. At this moment, Lu Ming felt a lump in his throat. In the past 2 years, he had already integrated into this small world and had developed feelings for it. But now, he was witnessing with his own eyes the people he was familiar with dying before his eyes one after another. This was a kind of sorrow. Power, power, I need supreme power. Lu Ming roared in his heart. If he didn't have the strength, he could foresee that if the Taiching sky domain was breached one day, the Yuan realm wouldn't be spared either. At that time, he wouldn't be able to protect his family, friends, and lovers. This was something he could not accept. Charge out! A grand elder roared. Kill! Lu Ming, Rinchan, and the others also roared and charged toward the gap. Stop them! The foreign race experts attacked crazily, but they were blocked by the grand elders and the others. Lu Ming and the others charged toward the gap crazily. In front of them, there were several great emperors leading the way. Along the way, there were still people dying in battle, but they were unwavering. Finally, they rushed out of the encirclement, but the grand elders and other great emperors had already been overwhelmed by the foreign race and couldn't be seen. They knew that the grand elders and elders would most likely not survive. Kill! In the distance, the foreign race chased after them. The situation was still very dangerous. Where should we go? There are foreign races everywhere. No matter where we go, we'll die. Many people's faces were pale. So what if they rushed out? There was still no way out. Enter the land of dusk. At this moment, Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the place. Many people couldn't help but look at Lu Ming. The land of dusk was the #1 forbidden land in the myriad spirits celestial domain. It was full of danger, and those who entered had no chance of survival. Previously, a large number of foreign race experts had entered the land of dusk and suffered heavy losses. Even the heavenly emperors had fallen. Wouldn't they be courting death if they went in? If we escape in other directions, we won't be able to escape. They'll catch up sooner or later, and only death will await us. Only by entering the land of dusk will we have a chance of survival. Otherwise, we won't have a chance. Lu Ming said in a firm voice. All right, let's do that. We don't have time. Charge into the land of dusk. Ren Chan shouted. Let's go. The remaining great emperors also made up their minds and rushed into the land of dusk. Behind them, the foreign race continued to pursue and were closing in. As they fled, they chased and killed. More and more people fell. We'll bring up the rear. Several great emperors came to the rear and blocked the foreign race. The land of dusk was very dangerous. It was full of terrifying field energy that could kill people without leaving a trace. However, because of the foreign race's attack, the structure of the terrain had changed. There were traces of Wawa pits everywhere, and the field energy had disappeared. They were advancing along the road opened by the foreign race. Otherwise, they would have died under the field energy. They charged all the way into the land of dusk. However, after charging for a while, they encountered another group of foreign race. This road opened by the foreign race was also guarded by foreign race experts. When they saw Lu Ming and the others, they roared and charged at them. There were strong enemies in front and pursuers behind. Now they could only fight. Charge! Lu Ming took the lead. His glabella shone and the heavenly emperor's physical body flew out. Now, he had no choice but to use the heavenly emperor's physical body. Fortunately, in the past few years, Lu Ming had been storing energy for the heavenly emperor's physical body when he was free. Lu Ming had killed many true emperors and obtained a shocking amount of those crystals. They were constantly converted into energy for the heavenly emperor's physical body. In more than 2 years, the energy stored in the heavenly emperor's physical body had reached a shocking 55%. With such a strong energy, the power was naturally shocking and terrifying. Lu Ming merged into the heavenly emperor's physical body. The heavenly emperor's physical body held a combat sword and slashed out. A large number of foreign race experts who were below the great emperor level died instantly. Such a powerful puppet. Ren Chan and the others were delighted. They thought that the heavenly emperor's physical body was a puppet. Lu Ming controlled the heavenly emperor's physical body and took the lead to kill. Chapter 2301. The Heaven Emperor's body contained 55% of its energy. When it exploded, it was truly shocking. A one-star Great Emperor rushed over and was killed by Lu Ming with a single slash. 55% of its energy was enough to kill a 3-star Great Emperor. Kill! Lu Ming rampaged. With Lu Ming's display of invincibility, the foreign races in front were finally routed. They rushed forward. However, due to the obstruction in front and the foreign races chasing after them, they lost a large number of people. More and more people died. Now, there were less than 3,000 of them left. The number of people in the small world was shocking. Naturally, there were more than 3,000 of them. However, those whose cultivation were too low were kept into the small world by the true emperors. This was also very dangerous because if the true emperor was killed, everyone in the small world would die as well. Therefore, it was unknown how many people and divine beasts had died along the way. The numbers were endless. This was the war between the two worlds. It was incomparably cruel. When the foreign races attacked the heaven world, the number of people who died in the heaven world was even more innumerable. Less than 3,000 people killed their way into the depths of the land of dusk. However, after rushing for a while, they encountered another group of foreign races. There was no choice. This path was opened by the foreign races and naturally, there were foreign races guarding it. However, it was more dangerous to go to other places. The energy field of the land of dusk could kill everything. Everyone fought with everything they had, bathed in blood as they charged forward. Another few hundred people would forever remain here. Fortunately, after encountering several groups of foreign races, they did not encounter any more foreign races in front. Lu Ming killed his way to the back and fought with the foreign races that were chasing after them. Towards the end, the energy of the Heaven Emperor's body was completely exhausted and could not be controlled. Lu Ming could only keep the body. At this point, he had lost count of how many foreign races he had killed. Towards the end, they were only left with about 2,000 people. This was an incomparably heavy loss. At this time, they finally arrived at the depths of the land of dusk. In front of them, there were mountains that rose and fell one after another. At this point, the outsiders actually stopped in their tracks and retreated. In the eyes of the foreign races, everyone saw fear and panic. Lu Ming and the others braced themselves, not daring to be careless. These mountains, why do they look like tombs? Someone spoke with a hoarse voice. The others remained silent. Indeed, these tall mountains, one after another, really looked like tombs. Although there were no tombstones or anything like that, their shapes were very similar. I don't think so. These mountains are so majestic. How could they be a tomb? After a while, someone spoke in bewilderment. What should we do next? Someone asked. The outsiders have retreated. Let's take a rest and recover our strength. Part of us will rest, and the other part will patrol the area. A great emperor realm elder said. Now, there were only 3 great emperors left among them. Everyone nodded. Now, this was the only way. Just as they were about to arrange for a rest, a dull roar came from the front. It came from the mountains. Everyone was greatly alarmed. They didn't have time to rest and gathered together vigilantly. Rumble. Several majestic mountains trembled, and under everyone's shocked gazes, they actually cracked open. A roar came from the crack in the mountains, and a terrifying murderous aura burst out. It was extremely terrifying, and it made one's heart beat faster. Roars came from several mountains in a row, and in the roar, the mountains trembled nonstop. Even the ground trembled, and the clouds in the sky were directly shaken apart, and hideous cracks appeared in the space. There seemed to be a few primordial beasts hibernating in those mountains. What is this? Someone's voice trembled. They recalled the news that they had heard before. Some time ago, the outsiders had entered the depths of the land of dusk, but in the end, they returned in defeat. In the depths of the land of dusk, a terrifying creature had awakened, and the heavenly emperor of the outsiders had fallen there. Was this the creature that they were facing now? Their faces turned pale. It was really a dead end. There were outsiders behind them, and there was such a creature in front of them. However, they had no intention of blaming Lu Ming. Even if they didn't take this path and rush to other places in the myriad spirit sky domain, they would still be caught by the outsiders. If they encountered the heavenly emperors of the outsiders, they would still be unable to escape death. Since the outsiders had found the entrance to the small world, their fate seemed to have been sealed, just like the other creatures in the myriad spirit sky domain. A few more terrifying roars came from those mountains, and then a few figures walked out. Suddenly, a terrifying murderous aura burst out crazily, enveloping the world. Many of the weaker cultivators vomited mouthfuls of blood. "That's a human, no, it's a zombie, someone exclaimed in shock. The figures that walked out of the mountains weren't primordial beasts. They were human-shaped and tall, more than 2 meters tall. However, their bodies were covered with long golden hair, and their eyes were blood red. The murderous aura were so thick that it couldn't be dispersed. They were clearly zombies. These mountains were indeed tombs, and there were terrifying experts buried in the tombs, who turned into zombies after death. Lu Ming and the others had many thoughts in their minds. What kind of existence would turn into such terrifying zombies? Even the heavenly emperors of the outsiders had fallen here. A total of 5 zombies stared at Lu Ming and the others with their blood-red eyes. A terrifying murderous aura spread towards them. Oh no! The remaining great emperors rushed forward and unleashed their auras, trying to stop the murderous aura. However, when the murderous aura rushed towards them, the great emperors' bodies shook violently, and they were forced to retreat. Their eyes were filled with shock. Just the murderous aura was enough to make them unable to withstand it. The strength of these zombies was terrifying. However, although these zombies were powerful, they didn't seem to have intelligence. With a roar, the murderous aura became thicker and turned into cold, murderous intent. "Oh no, retreat, retreat," one of the great emperors shouted. The 5 zombies roared and moved like lightning, rushing towards the group at an extremely fast speed. "It's over," a thought flashed across the group's mind. These zombies were extremely powerful, and they weren't something they could resist. They would be torn apart easily. "Stop!" At this moment, a loud roar came from the depths of the land of dusk. Then the 5 zombies suddenly stopped and floated in the air. Whoosh! Whoosh! Chapter 2302. Human Race, It's the Human Race. Ren Chan exclaimed, and the others became excited. The dozen or so people were definitely from the human race. They were all middle-aged men with burly physiques and strong auras. Their bodies were filled with powerful life essence. They weren't zombies, but humans. They didn't expect that there would be humans in the land of dusk. Moreover, it seemed like the powerful zombies were obeying their orders. If they were from the human race, they would be saved. The dozen or so burly men approached and bowed to the zombies, which surprised everyone. Afterward, more than 10 people looked at Lu Ming and the rest with unfriendly gazes. "Are you from the law system? Were you the ones who disturbed our ancestors' slumber?" The leading burly man spoke with a cold voice. "Law system? Ancestors' slumber?" Lu Ming, Ren Chan, and the rest. He was very surprised. What did this burly man mean? Why did he say they were from the law system? This statement was strange. Could it be that the other party didn't cultivate the law system? Could it be that the ancestors' slumber was referring to the zombies? "Senior, it wasn't us who disturbed your ancestors' slumber, but the foreign races," Ren Chan said. "Foreign races? What foreign races?" The leading burly man was puzzled. "In my opinion, it's them. There are no good people in the law system. Let's take them all down and hand them over to the elders for interrogation. Let's see what they're up to." Another burly man yelled. "That's right." The other burly men nodded. This made Lu Ming's face change. The leading burly man nodded. Suddenly, the dozen or so burly men moved as fast as lightning, appearing in all directions around Lu Ming's group. Boom, boom. More than 10 burly men erupted with shocking auras, and thunderous booms rang out. Pillars of blood chi rushed out of their bodies, like smoke signals soaring into the sky. That was pure blood chi. The dozen or so burly men were like primordial dragons. Their blood chi was so dense that it formed a terrifying pressure. Physique cultivators, primordial physique cultivators, they're primordial physique cultivators. One of the Emperor Realm experts exclaimed. The others were also shocked. Archean body cultivators? These people were actually Archean body cultivators. No wonder these people called it the law system. The primordial cultivation system and the law system were indeed two completely different cultivation systems. However, the ancient immemorial body cultivation had been lost for a long time. Only a very small amount of it was still being passed down, and the number of people who cultivated it was also extremely small. More than 10 primeval body cultivators had suddenly appeared here. Senior, you've misunderstood. This is the first time we've been here, and we were being hunted down. That's why we're here. It really is the outsiders who are disturbing you. A great emperor explained. The aura of these dozen or so burly men was too shocking. Their chi and blood were incomparably vigorous, like a barbaric dragon. Their muscles trembled slightly and actually emitted a terrifying rumbling sound that was caused by his muscles vibrating at an extremely fast speed, bombarding the air. This was a pure primordial body cultivator. According to legend, body cultivators of the primordial era purely cultivated their physical bodies. Their chi and blood were like dragons, and their physical bodies were inconceivably powerful. They did not have saint energy or world energy in their bodies, but they could still fly and even shatter the void. What he relied on was his physical body. When their muscles vibrated, they could resonate with the space around them, allowing their bodies to tear through the air. They were already using their bodies to the extreme. The dozen or so burly men in front of them were the same. Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, we'll explain it to our elders. Let's go, don't force us to fight. The leading burly man said coldly. A terrifying aura enveloped heaven and earth. His body was no different from an ordinary person, but it made people feel like they were facing a wild beast. The 5 zombies also roared, and a terrifying aura enveloped Lu Ming and the others. Everyone's expression changed. The 5 zombies were extremely tyrannical. Together with the dozen or so burly men, they could not fight at all. If they fought, only death would await them. No matter what, they're still humans. It's better than falling into the hands of the outsiders. That's right. Then let's go with them. Some people transmitted their voices. In the end, a few great emperors nodded and decided to go with them. Follow us. The leading burly man took the lead and walked towards the depths of the land of dusk. Lu Ming and the others followed. The other burly men fell behind, blocking their path of retreat. They flew towards the tomb-like mountains. When the 5 zombies reached the mountains, they entered the cracks of the mountains, and the mountains closed up. Could it be that these zombies were all immemorial body cultivators when they were alive? Lu Ming guessed in his heart. Immemorial body cultivators had incomparably strong bodies, and it was difficult for their bodies to decay after death. Since these zombies were so strong, it was very likely that they were transformed from immemorial body cultivators after death. The bodies of immemorial body cultivators were not that strong. Even if they turned into zombies after death, they would not be so strong. Moreover, these zombies did not seem to have any intelligence, but they listened to the orders of the burly men. The burly men called the zombies their ancestors, which further explained the problem. The group of people kept walking forward. After crossing the mountains, what appeared in front of them was still a huge mountain. There are so many mountains. Could it be that every mountain has a powerful zombie? Someone said in a low voice, full of shock. If that was the case, then it was terrifying. No wonder the outsiders had suffered a great loss here. They flew past at least 100 mountains, and in front of them was a valley surrounded by several mountains. There was a huge stone door in the middle of the valley. This stone door was open, and there was a pitch-black whirlpool inside. This is the entrance to a minor world. Lu Ming and the others were moved. The burly man took the lead and entered the stone door. Thereafter, Lu Ming and the rest also entered the stone door one by one. After entering the stone door, they arrived at a huge square. There were many people around the square, all of them middle-aged burly men with strong blood vitality. It was obvious at a glance that they were all immemorial body cultivators. There was actually a minor world in the depths of the Land of Dusk, the #1 forbidden ground in the All-Spirit Land. It was truly shocking that there were so many immemorial body cultivators. "All of you, follow me." The burly man from before stood in front of the crowd. After he finished speaking, he led them and flew forward. This space, is it a minor world that was born naturally? Lu Ming felt more and more surprised. There were many minor worlds in this world. Most of them were cultivated by people. When one's cultivation reached the true emperor realm, one would be able to cultivate a more stable minor world. However, there were very few minor worlds that were not cultivated by people, but were born naturally. For example, when the celestial world was born, some minor worlds would be born and attached to the celestial world. However, such small worlds were extremely few in number. Chapter 2303. After flying for a while, a huge city appeared in front of them. In the city, all kinds of stone buildings soared into the sky. They were densely packed and stretched as far as the eye could see. Looking from afar, there were many people coming and going in the city. This place was like a real world, like a huge country. According to legend, there were many cultivation systems in the primordial era. For example, primordial physical cultivation, primordial martial arts, primordial demon path, and so on. There were many cultivation paths, and it was incomparably prosperous. Later, the nomological system rose and expanded at an astonishing speed. Because the primordial cultivation system had very high requirements in all aspects, the cultivation conditions were harsh, and only a few people could cultivate it. However, the nomological system did not have such high requirements. As long as one had some talent, they could cultivate it and naturally grew very quickly. It did not take long for the nomological system to become the most powerful cultivation system. Where there were people, there was a world. Between the major cultivation systems, battles were inevitable. Later on, a shocking war broke out. The major cultivation systems of the primordial era fought against the nomological system. That battle was earth-shattering, but in the end, the nomological system won. Many of the other cultivation systems were cut off and fell apart. Slowly, they became weaker and weaker. Until now, not many people still cultivated the primordial cultivation system. However, there was such a world here. Could it be that they had stayed here since the primordial era? Everyone's imagination ran wild. After that, they flew into the city. Countless people looked at Lu Ming and the others curiously and whispered to each other. Not long after, they came to a square. There were already many people in the square. There were old men, middle-aged men, and young people. All of them had strong vitality like dragons. Even those old men had snow-white hair, but their skin was smooth and their muscles were full as if they were filled with endless strength. Elders. The leading man came to the front of a few old men with snow-white hair and bowed to report. Then, he told them in detail about meeting Lu Ming and the others. After listening, the old men nodded. One of them walked towards Lu Ming and the others. "Some time ago, were you the ones who disturbed the ancestors' sleep?" The old man asked. "Senior, it wasn't us." On Lu Ming's side, a great emperor said, "It's not you? Not too long ago, our ancestor was disturbed and came out of the great necropolis to fight with someone. This time, we sent people to investigate, and they happened to see you. How dare you say it wasn't you?" The old man's face sank. "Senior, it really wasn't us. It was the outsiders who attacked this place. We were also being chased by them. That's why we ran here." A great emperor explained. "Alien race? What alien race? Could it be a divine beast? There are also many divine beasts among you." The old man was puzzled. His gaze swept over Lu Ming and the others. It's not a divine beast. It's a foreign race from another world. They're vicious and cruel. Most of the Heaven Realm's territory has been occupied by them. Countless creatures have died in battle. The great emperor explained. What? A race from another world? The old man's expression changed drastically. The faces of the other Archean body cultivators also changed. My body cultivator lineage has been living in seclusion here ever since the primeval war. What exactly is happening in the outside world now? The old man asked. Everyone's heart jumped. No wonder the old man didn't know about the foreign race. They had been living in seclusion here since the primeval age. The primeval age was much older than the ancient era. The foreign race hadn't invaded yet. Senior, it's like this. That martial monarch immediately explained in detail the invasion of the foreign tribes in the ancient times. Then he recounted how they were besieged, how they were defeated, and how they fled to the depths of the land of dusk helplessly. The old man and the other Archean body cultivators listened attentively. After listening to the story, their faces became extremely heavy. Senior, 8 of the Heaven Realm's 9 heavens have been occupied by the foreign race. The 10,000 spirit heaven was occupied countless years ago. Now, the countless small worlds and forbidden lands in the 10,000 spirit heaven have all been occupied by the foreign race. Only the land of dusk hasn't been occupied. I'm guessing that the foreign race won't let this place go. They'll gather a large number of experts to attack this place. The great emperor said. The old man's expression changed. After a while, he said, "Is what you said true?" It was obvious that they were still skeptical. In the battle back then, the Archean body cultivators were defeated by those who practiced the laws. They didn't have a good impression of those who practiced the laws. Every word is true, the great emperor said. The others nodded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just at this moment, a few burly men flew over at top speed. Their faces were filled with panic. Elder, a large number of experts have appeared in the resting place of our ancestor. I don't know which race they are from, but they're attacking the resting place of our ancestor. A burly man reported. What? Gather the experts and face the enemy. The elder roared. Soon, the sound of a bell could be heard in the huge city. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the city, numerous figures flew out from various buildings. Countless figures flew towards the exit of the world. So many experts. Lu Ming and the others were shocked. Among them, some of their auras were terrifyingly strong. They were definitely great emperors. There were even some heavenly emperors. Watch them. Don't let them wander around. The elder instructed the people around him. Then he rose into the air and flew towards the exit of the world. Around them, there were more than 10 burly men staring at Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others waited quietly. After 2 days, they saw a large number of figures flying back to the city. Looks like they won. Archean body cultivators are indeed powerful. Ren Chan's beautiful eyes flashed. The others also revealed a look of joy. No matter what, the Archean body cultivators were also humans. It was better than the foreign races. At this moment, a few figures flew over. In the middle was a young man. The young man looked to be in his 20s. He was burly and muscular. He seemed to be filled with endless strength. He flew towards Lu Ming and the others. He looked at Lu Ming and the others curiously and said, "The elder asked me to pass a message. He believes that what you said is true. With the current situation, the various races of the Heaven Realm should be united. So, you can move freely here in the future. I will arrange accommodation for you." Ren Chan and the others were overjoyed. They were saved. Obviously, the Archean body cultivators had gone out to fight with the foreign races. They finally believed their words and agreed to accept them. "Brother, how is the battle outside?" Lu Ming stepped out and asked with a fist salute. "The foreign races outside have been defeated by the experts and the ancestral sacred body." The young man said, "I'm guessing that the foreign races will send more experts." Chapter 2304. The youth nodded and said, "The elders have already thought of this." Next, They will send a large number of experts to guard the ancestral resting place. At the same time, the elders are also thinking of other countermeasures. All right, I'll take you to your residence first. Then, the youth turned and flew in a certain direction. Lu Ming and the others followed. On the way, they learned the youth's name. He was called Hong Lu. Soon, they arrived at a spacious area. There were large stone houses here, but no one lived in them. Lu Ming and the others stayed here for the time being. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed since Lu Ming and the others arrived. Hong Lu was very curious about Lu Ming and the others, mainly about the outside world, so he often came to Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming, Ren Chan, and Hong Lu were all young people, so they naturally got along well. After a few exchanges, they became familiar with each other. Lu Ming and the others also learned a lot about this world. Their lineage had been living in seclusion in the depths of the Land of Dusk ever since their defeat in the Primeval War. The Land of Dusk was the most dangerous forbidden area in the land of myriad spirits. There was terrifying field energy everywhere. For so many years, no one had discovered that there were large numbers of primeval physique cultivators living in seclusion here. The exit of this world, which was also the ancestral resting place, was indeed the place where the primeval physique cultivators' ancestors were buried. Many primeval physique cultivators would die and be buried there. Under the effects of the wondrous field energy, their bodies would turn into zombies. Although those zombies did not have intelligence, the Archean body cultivator lineage had a special technique that allowed them to communicate with the zombies and control them to form a powerful fighting force. Back then, when the outsiders attacked the depths of the Land of Dusk, they alarmed the zombies. The zombies awakened and repelled the outsiders. The awakening of the zombies also alarmed the primeval physique cultivators, so they sent people out to investigate. They just happened to run into Lu Ming and the others and mistakenly thought that Lu Ming and the others had attacked that area. During this time, Hong Lu had been inquiring about the outside world. Lu Ming told him what he knew. The outsiders are so vicious. They deserve to be killed. Hong Lu roared, filled with righteous indignation. Brother Lu, Miss Ren Chan, shall I show you around? Have a taste of our scenery and customs. Hong Lu invited. Sure, Ren Chan said. She was also very curious about this place. However, as she had just arrived, she did not dare to walk around recklessly. Lu Ming also nodded. Immediately, Hong Lu led the way, and everyone walked around. Most ancient body cultivators were simple and honest people. When they saw Lu Ming and the others, they curiously sized them up and nodded. They circled around the city and came to a spacious area. This was a training ground for the primordial system. The training field was very spacious. There were many people cultivating, but most of them were quite young. There were 2 or 3 years old kids, 5 or 6 years old, 7 or 8 years old, and the oldest was a teenager. What surprised Lu Ming and the others was that the strength of these little brats was shockingly great. Lu Ming saw a 4 or 5-year-old kid running around with a naked but holding a cauldron that weighed more than 5,000 kilograms. A 7 or 8-year-old kid carried a small mountain and ran as if he was flying. All of them were shockingly strong. Lu Ming and Ren Chan were dumbfounded. We primordial body cultivators have to build our foundation from the age of 1. We soak in spiritual liquid and temper our bodies. From the age of 3, we have to cultivate body tempering techniques. Our cultivation is all on the physical body, so we are relatively strong. Hong Lu explained with a smile, feeling rather proud. Amazing, indeed amazing. Lu Ming exclaimed. Primordial body cultivators had unparalleled physical bodies. They were indeed incomparably powerful. For those who cultivated the laws, as their cultivation increased, their physical bodies would also be tempered and slowly become stronger. After reaching the martial monarch realm, cultivating the spiritual body would have all sorts of wondrous uses and strong vitality. However, in terms of physical bodies, Lu Ming discovered that the physical bodies of many martial sages were not as strong as those of the 7 or 8-year-old children here, let alone martial monarchs. As for those teenagers, their physical bodies were even more astonishing. Bang, bang. Two figures were fighting fiercely in the sky. The two teenagers, who were 15 or 16 years old, kept colliding in the sky. They were like two streaks of light, moving at an astonishing speed. Their combat strength is equivalent to the bright sage realm. Also, the use of their physical bodies is amazing. Lu Ming observed carefully and was amazed. These two teenagers, who were only 15 or 16 years old, already had the combat strength of the bright sage realm. It was already very good. Moreover, their use of their physical bodies was superb. Their muscles were rapidly vibrating, resonating with the air and space, allowing their bodies to fly. Furthermore, their speed was astonishing. The vibrations were very subtle. If not for Lu Ming's amazing eyesight, he would not have noticed it. The way the two of them attacked was very simple. It was a collision of strength, punches hitting flesh. Bang, bang, bang. The two of them exchanged a few hundred blows before stopping. They each found a place to recover and cultivate. Brother Lu, I can feel that your blood qi is extremely strong and your physical body is strong. It far surpasses those who cultivate the laws. I'm very curious. Have you also cultivated the body tempering technique? Hong Lu sized up Lu Ming and asked curiously. Hong Lu was an expert of the body tempering technique and was very sensitive to people with strong physical bodies. He could naturally feel that Lu Ming's physical body was also extremely strong. I've never cultivated the body tempering technique before. It's just that my physical body is stronger by chance. Lu Ming said with a smile. His spiritual body was a high-class heaven spiritual body back then, and he had refined the chaos qi in it, so it was exceptionally strong. Later, after being tempered by the 9 types of laws and refining a portion of the ancestral dragon's blood, Lu Ming's physical body was astonishingly strong. In the body tempering technique, no martial artist of the same level could compare to Lu Ming's physical body. Brother Lu, why don't we have a spar? Hong Lu said expectantly. He had never sparred with experts of other cultivation systems. He had always been very curious about how strong the body tempering technique was. In the primordial era, it could actually defeat other cultivation systems. All right. Lu Ming nodded. He was also very curious about how strong the pure body tempering technique of the primordial era was. Baoda was also a body tempering technique of the primordial era and was very strong. Back in the primordial realm's 10 lands battle, Lu Ming had fought with Baoda and had a deep impression of him. The two of them moved and arrived high in the sky. In the cultivation field, the youths and children were all attracted. Brother Hong Lu is going to fight. Brother Hong Lu is invincible among the younger generation. It's been a long time since he fought. This time, he can learn from him. Those youths and children cried out one after another, extremely excited. Even some of the older ones were attracted. Chapter 2305. Brother Hong Lu, please. Lu Ming waved his hand. Brother Lu, be careful. Hong Lu said. The muscles on his body bulged slightly, and a terrifying whistling sound came from his body. That was because his vitality was too rich, and the fluctuations produced when he circulated it were like the roar of a true dragon. When one's vitality reached such a level, it was absolutely terrifying. Even without the law of life and the indestructible ancient scripture, his vitality was shockingly strong, and ordinary injuries could be healed quickly. Boom! Hong Lu's muscles trembled, and his body rushed toward Lu Ming, throwing a punch at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, and the power of the world in his body circulated to the extreme. All the power of his physical body was also mobilized by Lu Ming. In addition, Lu Ming used a law, which was the law of primal chaos. Boom! Lu Ming also threw a punch. This punch was the combination of Lu Ming's physical strength, the power of the world, and the law of primal chaos. With Lu Ming's current cultivation and the 3rd level of the law of primal chaos, the power of this punch was extremely shocking. Bang! Their fists collided. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. He felt that Hong Lu's fist was like hundreds of mountains, and waves of terrifying power rushed toward Lu Ming. Even the 3rd level of the law of primal chaos trembled and was almost penetrated. Lu Ming's body could not help but retreat. Hong Lu's body only swayed slightly, and then he stabilized himself. What powerful strength, what powerful combat strength! Lu Ming was a little shocked. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, even if he only used the law of primal chaos, his combat strength was extremely shocking. Few people of the same level in the Taiching Sky domain could stop him, but Hong Lu was able to push him back with a punch. Hong Lu's combat strength was top-notch even in the Taiching Sky domain. "Brother Hong Lu, you're amazing!" The children and youths cried out excitedly. But Hong Lu himself had a very grave expression. Although he had forced Lu Ming back with one punch, he felt that Lu Ming had not used his full strength at all. His body contained a terrifying amount of power. "Brother Lu, you haven't used your full strength yet, have you? Use your full strength." Hong Lu said. "Come." Lu Ming only said one word. At the same time, his body lit up continuously. Array Dao Law, Tools Dao Law, Penetration Dao Law, and Force Dao Law. Lu Ming had successively used 4 types of laws. Among them, the laws of Array Dao and the laws of Tools Dao were at the 3rd level, while the laws of penetration and the laws of force were at the 2nd level. Lu Ming's aura became even stronger. Boom! 5 types of laws fused together, augmenting Lu Ming's fist. Lu Ming punched out again. Hong Lu also charged towards Lu Ming, throwing out a punch. Bang! The two of them clashed for the 2nd time, and the space where their fists collided constantly exploded, revealing spiderweb-like cracks. This time, the two of them swayed at the same time and retreated a few steps. Then, the two of them fought again. Bang! 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 The collision of fists was very direct, and they continued to bombard each other. Lu Ming did not use his mystique, the laws of life and death, and neither did Lu Ming. The two of them exchanged more than 100 moves and ended in a draw. After another move, the two of them retreated, and Hong Lu panted heavily. "Awesome, awesome, the system of laws is indeed amazing. Brother Lu, did you use your full strength? Tell me." Hong Lu stared at Lu Ming. More or less. Almost ha. Lu Ming smiled. He did not use his full strength mainly to save Hong Lu some face in front of the children. After all, Hong Lu was the strongest prodigy of the archaic body cultivator generation and was the idol of these children. If he defeated Hong Lu, it would inevitably affect the children's confidence. "You rascal, I knew it. We'll fight again next time." Hong Lu was forthright. He chuckled and did not take it to heart. He stared at Lu Ming and said, "Your physical body is really strong. It is not weaker than some body cultivators. Why don't you try to cultivate the techniques of body cultivators? What do you think?" "A body cultivator's dermic formulation?" Lu Ming was stunned. "Look over there." Hong Lu pointed to the north. That was the edge of the training ground. There was a huge cliff, and from afar, one could see that the cliff was densely written with words. "What's recorded is a body cultivator's dermic formulation. Let's go and take a look." Hong Lu said. "Brother Hong, that's a body cultivator's dermic formulation. I'm afraid it's not appropriate for us to take a look." Lu Ming said. Every system had its own dermic formulation, and many of them were not taught to outsiders. They were not body cultivators, and it would be bad if they violated the taboo. "It's fine. That body cultivator's dermic formulation is only used to strengthen one's foundation. Anyone can cultivate it, and it's not a core dermic formulation," Hong Lu said, taking the lead and walking toward the cliff. Lu Ming and Ren Chan were curious, and they followed behind Hong Lu, arriving at the bottom of the cliff. Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique. Lu Ming looked carefully and found that what was recorded on the cliff was a body cultivator's dermic formulation called Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique. This Minor Heavenly Mystery Technique is the most widespread body cultivator's dermic formulation in the primordial era. It's also the most suitable body cultivator's dermic formulation for building one's foundation. Anyone can cultivate it, and it's divided into 12 levels. If the two of you are interested, you can take a look at it. It's very helpful to improve one's physique. Hong Lu said. "Many thanks." Lu Ming and Ren Chan expressed their gratitude and looked at the dermic formulation in detail. It's really amazing. So there are so many things to pay attention to, Lu Ming sighed while looking at the dermic formulation. Soon, he memorized all the contents and sat down cross-legged to comprehend them. 2 days later, Lu Ming began to cultivate. First, he circulated the first level of the minor heavenly mystery technique. Buzz. A buzzing sound came from his muscles, bones, and even his internal organs. This buzzing sound turned into a mysterious force, like a sound wave, permeating into every part of Lu Ming's body. At this moment, Lu Ming felt his entire body go numb, as if he had been electrocuted. His body trembled slightly according to a mysterious pattern. Lu Ming found that his body was slowly becoming stronger. Some parts that were difficult to temper before were also becoming stronger. Although the degree of strengthening was very weak, it was indeed becoming stronger. It was as if his body was being thoroughly baptized and polished. Not long after, Lu Ming felt that he had successfully cultivated the first level of the minor heavenly mystery technique. Next, the second level. Lu Ming continued to cultivate the second level. In the second level, Lu Ming found that the refinement of his body was more thorough. His muscles and bones were trembling at a mysterious frequency. His entire body was numb and itchy, and his muscles and bones were slowly transforming. One should know that Lu Ming's body was already very strong, but now, it could still transform. This was very shocking. Chapter 2306. From start to finish, Lu Ming spent 3 days to successfully cultivate the first 3 levels of the minor Tianxian skill. Beside him, Hong Lu was secretly shocked when he felt the fluctuations coming from Lu Ming's body. In just 3 days he had successfully cultivated the first 3 levels of the minor Tianxian skill. Even though he knew that Lu Ming's physical strength was already very strong, Hong Lu was still shocked. This speed was too fast. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He was completely captivated. Every moment, he could feel his physical body getting stronger and stronger. His muscles and bones were itching, and there was a wonderful fluctuation coming from them. This feeling was too good, too wonderful. Lu Ming was completely immersed in his cultivation, forgetting himself and the time. After finishing the 3rd level, Lu Ming began to cultivate the 4th level, then the 5th, the 6th. The higher the cultivation level, the greater the improvement it would bring to him. The minor Tianxian skill was originally used by body cultivators to build their foundation and strengthen their foundation. As for Lu Ming, he had never cultivated a body cultivator's technique before. His physical body had been strengthened by external objects and external forces. This kind of improvement would inevitably lead to an unstable foundation. For example, there were some blind spots in the body, some extremely secretive places that were not tempered, and thus there would be flaws. Now, Lu Ming had reorganized his physical body. Although his physical strength did not increase by much, the strength and quality of his physical body were qualitatively different from before. Moreover, after cultivating the minor Tianxian skill to the 6th level, his foundation was very solid. The strength of his physical body had also begun to increase. 7th level, 8th level, 9th level. Lu Ming used half a month to cultivate the minor Tianxian skill to the 9th level. Moreover, Lu Ming had no intention of stopping. He was already attacking the 10th level. This shocked Hong Lu. How is this possible? In just half a month, he has cultivated the minor Tianxian skill to the 9th level and is still continuing. This is a peerless genius. A body cultivator's peerless genius. This matter must be reported to the elders. Hong Lu muttered to himself. Then, he quickly left the place and reported this matter to his superiors. Not long after, beams of prismatic light appeared. There were more than a dozen old men, all of whom were elders of the Archean body cultivator lineage. When these people saw Lu Ming, their eyes widened. He's already reached the 10th level. Unbelievable! For someone who cultivates in the nomological system to be able to reach the 10th level of the minor heaven mystery art in such a short period of time, he is definitely a peerless genius. I wonder if he can successfully cultivate all 12 layers of the minor sky mystery art. The dozen or so old men discussed excitedly and shockingly. Although the minor heaven mystery technique was the foundation technique of the body cultivator lineage, it was also the most important technique. Only by cultivating the minor heaven mystery technique to a high enough level could one cultivate the core techniques of the body cultivator lineage. However, not everyone could cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection. In fact, it was already very good to be able to cultivate to the 9th level and be considered a genius of the body cultivator lineage. In the future, their achievements would definitely be extraordinary. As for the highest level, the 12th level, there were not many people in the body cultivator lineage since ancient times. Each and every one of them was a rare genius. Ru Honglu was such a prodigy. However, he took a much longer time than Lu Ming. To be able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to such a level in such a short period of time was definitely one of a kind. Everyone waited quietly. Later, Ren Chan also ended her cultivation. Up until now, she had only cultivated to the 3rd level. If she continued, she felt that her strength was not enough and needed time to slowly polish it. When she saw the dozen or so old men staring at Lu Ming without blinking, she was shocked. After asking Hong Lu about it, she understood the whole story. Rin Chan sighed. The body cultivator lineage did not know how freakish Lu Ming was, but she knew that Lu Ming had mastered 3 types of supreme laws. In the system of laws, he was also an unprecedented figure. Now, Lu Ming was actually so freakish when cultivating the body cultivation technique. She could not help but sigh. Lu Ming was unaware of everything that was happening outside. He was immersed in his cultivation. Soon, he completed the cultivation of the 10th level and broke through to the 11th level. He could feel that his physical body was constantly growing stronger and tougher. His strength was also increasing. In particular, there was a drop of ancestral dragon blood in his heart. As Lu Ming cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique, that drop of ancestral dragon blood also had traces of energy that poured into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming refined it, increasing the strength of his physical body. The 11th level was not difficult for Lu Ming and he was quickly cultivated to success. Next, it was the 12th level. Buzz. This was also the last level of the minor heaven mystery technique. At this point, Lu Ming's physical body was constantly trembling and emitting a buzzing sound. He felt that his physical strength was extremely powerful. After Lu Ming cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique for a month, Lu Ming finally cultivated the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection. He succeeded. Oh my God, he managed to cultivate the minor heaven mystery skill to the perfection stage in just 1 month. His talent is too amazing. This kind of body cultivation talent cannot be wasted. I think we should impart the 7 divine mystic technique to him. I agree. More than a dozen old men spoke excitedly, their eyes shining. When they looked at Lu Ming, it was as if they were looking at a peerless treasure. Even Hong Lu was shocked. The elders actually wanted to impart the 7 divine mystic technique to Lu Ming. The 7 divine mystic technique was completely different from the minor heaven mystery technique. The minor heaven mystery technique was only a basic cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage. It was very widespread and could be cultivated by anyone. However, the 7 divine mystic technique was the core cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage. It was one of the top secret cultivation techniques. Generally, only the geniuses of the body cultivation lineage could cultivate it. Hong Lu himself cultivated this cultivation technique. This showed how much the elders appreciated Lu Ming. To be able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery technique to perfection in just a month was unprecedented in the history of body cultivation. This kind of talent was too amazing. If he did not cultivate the cultivation technique of the body cultivation lineage, it would be a waste. Phew. At this moment, Lu Ming let out a long breath and opened his eyes. My strength has doubled. Lu Ming felt his strength and revealed a look of excitement. His physical body had become much stronger and his strength had doubled. With the help of the Supreme Force and the various laws, Lu Ming's combat strength had undoubtedly increased by another level. Lu Ming felt that if he unleashed his full strength, His combat strength would reach the 18th level true emperor. Afterward, Lu Ming swept his gaze around and got a shock. This was because more than 10 pairs of sparkling eyes were staring intently at him. Little guy, how do you feel? Is your physical body much stronger? You're a peerless genius of the body cultivation world. How about this? Don't cultivate the law system in the future. Cultivate the body cultivation lineage instead. I'll take you as my disciple. Get lost, he's my disciple. The dozen old men glared at each other and began to fight over Lu Ming. They all wanted to take him as their disciple. Chapter 2307. More than a dozen white-haired old men glared at each other, looking like they were about to draw their swords, but when they looked at Lu Ming, their eyes were burning. After a long while, Lu Ming reacted. That, seniors, this junior cultivates the nomological system. I have no intention of abandoning the nomological system and focusing on cultivating the physical body. Lu Ming said honestly. It was not easy for him to achieve his current achievements in various nomological systems. He had sacrificed too much. Moreover, his nomological system was unprecedented. In the future, he would master more strongest nomological systems. How could he give it up just like that? You still want to cultivate the nomological system? Kid, let me tell you, your talent in physical cultivation is definitely stronger than the nomological system. Do you understand? It's a waste if you don't cultivate the physical body. Don't ruin your future. The dozen or so old men panicked and tried to persuade Lu Ming. Seniors, I've made up my mind. I won't change it, but Lu Ming rolled his eyes and revealed a smile. However, I can do dual cultivation. I can cultivate the nomological system and physical body together. Seniors, what do you think? Practice together? The dozen or so old men quieted down and looked at each other. Kid, the path of cultivation is very difficult. Who knows how much effort it takes to cultivate one of them? Many people spend their entire lives and still can't cultivate one of them to the peak. If you want to cultivate both, I'm afraid you're biting off more than you can chew. That's right. You won't be able to cultivate both. The dozen or so old men criticized Lu Ming sternly. Seniors, I understand this logic, but others are others. I'm different from others. With my unparalleled talent, it's definitely not a problem to cultivate the nomological system and the physical body together. Lu Ming said shamelessly. His face was not red and his heart was not beating fast. This kid is simply shameless. But what he said makes sense. With his talent, it's indeed difficult for others to compare to him. Are we going to pass the 7 gods' mysterious art to him? He doesn't specialize in body cultivation. It's not good to pass it on to him like this. The 7 gods' mysterious art is the highest secret of body cultivation. It can be practiced to the legendary supreme realm. In my opinion, it's better to ask the Taishang elder. Yes, I think so too. The dozen or so old men gathered together to discuss. After a while, one of the old men said to Lu Ming, Brat, you wait here. We'll go ask the Grand Elder for instructions. After saying that, the dozen or so old men all left. Lu Ming, you actually managed to cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in just 1 month. How did you do it? Hong Lu walked over in amazement. Ren Chan also curiously sized up Lu Ming. She had also cultivated before, but she could only cultivate to the 3rd level. If she wanted to continue to improve, she didn't know how much effort it would take. She knew how difficult it was. However, Lu Ming was able to cultivate it to the peak in 1 go. This was simply a miracle. I don't know. I just casually cultivated it to perfection. Is it that difficult? Lu Ming asked in surprise. Ren Chan and Hong Lu's eyelids twitched. They were tongue-tied and couldn't speak at all. They were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. It was a complete blow. It's not difficult. After holding it in for a long time, Hong Lu squeezed out such a sentence. It should have something to do with the ancestral dragon blood, Lu Ming pondered. He felt that the reason why he could cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in 1 go was largely related to the drop of ancestral dragon blood. This was because when he cultivated to the end, the energy in the ancestral dragon blood was constantly being refined. That was why Lu Ming was able to cultivate the minor heaven mystery art to perfection in one go. Then, Ren Chan asked Lu Ming about the cultivation method of the minor heaven mystery art. They chatted while waiting. They didn't have to wait for too long. The dozen or so old men returned. "Kid, we have already asked the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder thinks that your talent is really rare. It would be a pity if you don't cultivate your physical body. Therefore, the Grand Elder has agreed to pass the 7 gods mystic art to you. Take it." An old man said. Then he took out a roll of animal skin and handed it to Lu Ming. "The cultivation method of the 7 gods mystic art is recorded on it. Memorize it and return this roll of animal skin to us." The old man said, "Thank you, Senior." Lu Ming thanked him. He was overjoyed. Then, he took the animal skin and carefully looked at it. Soon, he memorized all the contents on the animal skin and returned it to the old men. Lu Ming closed his eyes and carefully comprehended the contents. The 7 gods mystic art was a supreme physique cultivation method. It was many times more exquisite than the minor heaven mystery art. The 7 gods mystic art was divided into 7 levels. Each level was divided into early, middle, and late stages. Lu Ming used a full 7 days to roughly understand the contents of the first few levels. Then he began to cultivate. Buzz, buzz. His muscles, bones, organs, and even every drop of blood in his body emitted a mysterious vibration. Waves of mysterious power seeped into every corner of Lu Ming's body and into every cell. Lu Ming's physical body was undergoing a transformation. The first 2 levels of the 7 divine mystic art were also a way to build a solid foundation. It was very similar to the later levels of the Xiaoxiangshuan skill. Lu Ming was able to cultivate it with ease. Very soon he had mastered the first 2 levels. 7 days later, Lu Ming reached the 3rd level of the 7 gods mystic art. At the 3rd level of the 7 gods mystic art, one could fight against Void Emperor with just the strength of their physical body. At the 4th level, one could fight against a true emperor with just the strength of their physical body. The 5th level corresponded to a grand emperor. The 6th level corresponded to a heavenly emperor. And the highest level, the 7th level, corresponded to a supreme realm. After reaching the 3rd level, Lu Ming's cultivation speed slowed down. He continued to circulate the 7 gods mystic art. The drop of ancestral dragon blood in his heart also continuously circulated energy throughout Lu Ming's body. Following the circulation of the 7 gods mystic art, the energy seeped into every cell of Lu Ming's body and continuously strengthened Lu Ming's physical body. Time passed day by day. Lu Ming continued to break through. Early 3rd level, middle 3rd level, late 3rd level. After a full 2 months, Lu Ming finally reached the late 3rd level of the 7 gods mystic art. However, Lu Ming did not stop. He felt that he could continue to break through. During these 2 months, Ren Chan, Hong Lu, and a dozen old men had been watching nearby. A genius, a genius. He reached the late 3rd level of the 7 gods mystic art in one go and has no intention of stopping. This has never happened before. A dozen old men exclaimed. At this time, a few burly men flew over, their faces grave as they reported, "Elders, something bad has happened. Outside the exit, where our ancestors are sleeping, a large number of strange races have gathered. They have already launched an attack, and their strength is extremely strong. They're here. Let's go and gather all the experts." Chapter 2308. The elders all left and headed towards the exit of the small world. At the same time, a large number of archaic body cultivators rushed towards the exit. At the exit of the small world, where the archaic body cultivator ancestors were sleeping, a terrifying battle broke out. Countless foreign race powerhouses bombarded the tombs like a gust of wind. The tombs split open and zombies walked out one after another. These zombies were very terrifying. Many of them had the combat strength of a great emperor. Some even had the combat strength of a heavenly emperor. These zombies were all top body cultivators when they were alive. In addition, There were also archaic body cultivators fighting with the endless foreign races. More than a dozen elders and a large number of body cultivators rushed out and charged towards the foreign races. Kill! Those old men looked to be gray-haired. At this moment, they shouted loudly. Their blood chi soared into the sky like smoke signals. Their bodies erupted with terrifying power as if ancient dragons were awakening. Boom! Boom! Their attack method was very simple. With a simple punch, the fist force shattered the void and a large number of foreign races were killed. The zombies were even more direct. They were not afraid of death. They ignored defense and attacked crazily. For a time, the archaic body cultivators gained the advantage. The foreign races attacked for a while and were beaten back. They retreated to the depths of the land of dusk. However, the archaic body cultivators did not dare to slack off. They sent people to guard them strictly. Sure enough, every few days, the foreign races attacked again. Moreover, their overall strength was stronger than before. Both sides fell into a fierce battle. After a period of fighting, the foreign races retreated. However, after a while, they would attack again. Lu Ming had been cultivating all this time. Previously, he used 2 months to successfully cultivate the first 3 levels of the Seven Gods' arcane art. Then he used another month to successfully break through to the early 4th level. Then he used another month to cultivate the Seven Gods' arcane art to the middle 4th level. At this point, Lu Ming had to stop cultivating. This was because he felt that his original accumulation had been used up. He had encountered a bottleneck and could not break through for the time being. He needed to polish for a period of time. Moreover, the energy of the drop of ancestral dragon blood had been refined by half. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes and let out a long breath. My strength is so strong. Lu Ming felt the power in his body and was extremely excited. This was the power of his physical body, pure physical strength. Lu Ming felt that his current physical strength was dozens of times stronger than before. Intermediate 4th level. My physical strength alone should be enough to fight against a 13th level true emperor. Lu Ming speculated. Don't look down on this kind of power. It was extremely terrifying, because this was purely the power of the physical body, and nothing else was added. In the past, although Lu Ming's physical strength was strong, it was still far from what it was now. At that time, Lu Ming's physical strength, world strength, and laws would be able to increase Lu Ming's strength. However, if he were to rely on the strength of his physical body alone, it would be impossible. At most, he would be on par with a low-level ethereal emperor. But now, Lu Ming was able to fight against a 13th level true emperor with just his physical strength alone. With the addition of the world strength and laws, Lu Ming's strength would reach an astonishing level, far surpassing the strength of an 18th level true emperor. Now that Lu Ming was facing an expert with the combat strength of a level 18 true emperor, he could completely crush the other party. Body cultivation, when combined with the law system, would burst forth with astonishing power. My defense and recovery ability has been greatly enhanced. Coupled with the indestructible ancient scripture, I wonder what kind of level it will reach. Lu Ming found it hard to imagine how powerful he would be if he were to go all out. Lu Ming, which realm have you cultivated the 7 divine mystic arts to? Hong Lu came over and asked. Intermediate 4th level. Lu Ming said. Heavens, intermediate 4th level so quickly. You're sick? I've been cultivating for dozens of years and I'm only at the intermediate 4th level. You're sick? Hong Lu wailed as if he had suffered a blow. Lu Ming rubbed his nose, speechless. His rapid improvement was mainly due to his previous accumulation. His body had been tempered many times in the past and was already very strong. With the help of the lesser heaven mysterious arts and a drop of ancestral dragon blood, he was able to improve so quickly. His speed would slow down in the future. Moreover, cultivating the physical body required a large amount of natural resources, such as spiritual herbs, saint herbs, and emperor herbs. This time, he relied entirely on the energy of the ancestral dragon blood. He didn't need any herbs. By the way, where are the other seniors? Lu Ming looked around and asked. They've gone to war with the foreign races. Their attacks have become more frequent in the past 2 months. Many of our people have died in battle. Speaking up to this point, Hong Lu's complexion turned awful. The foreign races have already attacked? Lu Ming's expression turned grave. We can't go on like this. The foreign races are too strong, and their numbers are endless. It's not that I'm underestimating the strength of the primordial body cultivator lineage, but if this continues, we won't be able to hold on. Ren Chan said. Then what should we do? Hong Lu was also a little anxious. Let's go to the front line. I want to talk to the seniors. Lu Ming said. All right, let's go. Hong Lu nodded. Immediately, the three of them headed for the exit of the pocket dimension. With their speed, it didn't take long for them to arrive near the exit of the pocket dimension. There were many temporary buildings near the exit of the pocket dimension. A large number of primordial body cultivator experts were stationed there. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, it was obvious that there had just been a huge battle outside. Many people had just retreated from outside. In a huge stone hall, a few supreme elders and more than 20 elders of the primordial body cultivator lineage were discussing something. However, their expressions were grave, and their brows were tightly furrowed. The atmosphere in the stone hall was very oppressive. At this moment, someone reported that Hong Lu and Lu Ming were requesting an audience. Let them in. At the very top, a supreme elder spoke. The supreme elders of the primordial body cultivator lineage were all heavenly emperor realm powerhouses. A while later, Lu Ming, Ren Chan, and Hong Lu walked in. Numerous gazes fell on Lu Ming in unison. Kid, what realm did you cultivate the seven gods' profound art to? An old man asked curiously. Middle stage 4th layer. Lu Ming answered truthfully. Middle stage 4th layer. These old men in the stone hall, and some middle-aged men, each and every one of them opened their eyes wide. They knew when Lu Ming started cultivating. In just a few months' time, Lu Ming actually cultivated the seven gods' profound art to the mid-stage 4th layer. Chapter 2309. Hong Lu was the most outstanding prodigy of the Archean body cultivators, but he had only reached the mid-4th level after a few decades. Lu Ming, on the other hand, had only taken him a few months. Good, a peerless genius, a peerless genius. The elders sighed. After a while, they calmed down. Why did you come to us? One of the supreme elders asked with a smile. Seniors, now that the foreign races have set their eyes on this place, they will definitely not let this place go. If this continues, the war will be very disadvantageous. Lu Ming said. We know that too. What do you think? One of the supreme elders asked. Let's rush out and leave this place. Otherwise, this place will be breached sooner or later. At that time, no one will be spared. Lu Ming said and directly expressed his thoughts. Leave this place. In the stone hall, everyone's expression changed. Our Archean body cultivator lineage has been living in seclusion since the ancient times after our defeat. We have lived here for countless years and have already taken root here. You want us to abandon this place? A burly man said. The others fell silent. Indeed, their lineage had lived here for countless years. Who would be willing to abandon it just like that? Seniors, it's not that I look down on the strength of the body cultivator lineage, but the foreign races are too strong. The ones outside are only a small part of them. In the ancient times, the celestial realm was incomparably prosperous. Experts gathered and invincible experts roamed the world, but in the end, it was still breached. Countless experts died in battle. Only the Taiching celestial realm was left in the nine heavens realm, barely holding on. If the foreign races transferred some of their experts from the battlefield in the Taiching celestial realm, they definitely won't be able to hold on. Lu Ming advised. The people of the Archean body cultivator lineage had solemn expressions as they pondered seriously. They also understood that Lu Ming was right. Their lineage was only one of the Archean body cultivator lineages. Their strength was far from being comparable to the Archean body cultivator lineage in the prime of the ancient times. However, The body cultivator lineage in the prime of the Archean era was still defeated by the law system. Later on, after many years of development, the system of laws flourished to the extreme, but it was still broken through by the other races. It was clear how powerful the other races were, and how they could not withstand them. There's actually another exit in this small world. If you want to retreat, you can retreat from the other exit. After a long time, a supreme elder spoke with a voice filled with helplessness. There is another exit? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In that case, it would be much better than rushing out. Everyone, tell me, are we going to retreat or not? The supreme elder who had spoken earlier turned to look at the others. I agree to retreat. I agree to. Our lineage can't end here. I agree. The remaining elders and grand elders all expressed their willingness to retreat. Only a few people remained silent, unwilling to accept this. I have a question. With such a large population in our small world, how are we going to bring them out when we retreat? One of them asked. That's easy. True emperors of our law system can create small worlds. Even a one-star true emperor can create a small world with a circumference of 100,000 miles. It's enough to bring everyone out. Ren Chan said. Then where should we go after we retreat? A burly man asked. To the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. A supreme elder answered. The Grand Pure Heaven Domain? This time, not only were many Archean body cultivator elders stunned, but even Lu Ming and Ren Chan were stunned. Could there be a way to reach the Grand Pure Heaven Domain from the Myriad Spirit Heaven Domain? If there was, why hadn't the other races discovered it after so many years? How can we go to the Grand Pure Heaven Domain? The eyes of many elders lit up. It would be best if they could go to the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. There's an ancient book in our body cultivator lineage that says that we can reach the passage between the Grand Pure Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain from the yellow springs of the Nine Nether Heaven Domain. According to little brother Lu Ming, the passage between the Grand Pure Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain has become a battlefield. As long as we reach there, we can enter the Two-World City and the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. Another Supreme Elder also spoke. Doesn't that mean we have to go to the Nine Nether Heaven Domain first? Someone asked. That's the only way now. A Supreme Elder said. Seniors, it's completely feasible. The Nine Nether Heaven Domain and the Wanling Heaven Domain are connected by a passage. As long as we charge through the passage and enter the Nine Nether Heaven Domain, we can reach the Yellow Springs and then the Grand Pure Heaven Domain. Moreover, the energy that the other races cultivate is different from ours. Although they can absorb origin chi to cultivate in the heavenly domain, it's very slow and inefficient. Therefore, other than the battlefield in the Grand Pure Heaven Domain, although the other heavens have been occupied by the other races, there aren't many of them. Seniors, with your strength, you can definitely kill your way to the Yellow Springs. Ren Chan said. His words made everyone's eyes light up. All right, let's do that. First, I'll have to trouble you to put everyone below the Martial Emperor realm into the small world and then retreat. A Supreme Elder announced and gave the order. Immediately, everyone got to work. Those who cultivated the law system began to move. They put everyone in the small world into the small world, leaving those above the Martial Emperor realm outside. After so many years of development, the population of the primordial body cultivator lineage had already reached tens of billions of people. However, this was not a problem at all. A small world of a one-star true emperor was 100,000 miles wide. A martial emperor's small world was 1,000,000 miles wide. It was a piece of cake to take in tens of billions of people. After a few days, all the people and resources in the small world were put away. At this time, they began to retreat. However, they still left some people behind to guard the exit and control the zombies to fight against the other races. There was no other way. Someone had to stay behind or the other races would discover them. Those who stayed behind would die without a doubt. Those above the Martial Emperor realm led a group of powerful zombies to the other side of the small world. There was another exit there. They went through this exit and came out of the Land of Dusk. Then, they quickly flew toward the passage to the Nine Nether Heaven Domain. However, they still encountered the other races along the way. Even though they were easily killed by the body cultivators of the Archean era, they weren't strong enough. However, some of them still managed to spread the news before they died. When the other races in the Land of Dusk received the news, they were immediately enraged and launched a fierce attack toward the depths of the Land of Dusk. The immemorial physique cultivators who stayed behind were naturally no match for them and were all killed in the end. When the other races rushed into the small world of the immemorial physique cultivators and found that it was empty, they were furious and ordered all the other races in myriad spirit heaven to encircle the immemorial physique cultivators. Chapter 23:10. Lu Ming and the others were very fast. Coupled with some powerful archaic body cultivators, they were very powerful. Although they encountered obstructions from other races, the hastily gathered outsiders were no match for them and were easily killed. A few days later, they arrived at the passage between the myriad spirit heaven and 9 netherworld heaven. The passage here was very similar to the one between the grand pure heaven and Hunyuan heaven. It was very wide. However, there weren't many outsiders guarding it. Apart from the grand pure heaven, the other 8 heavens were under the control of the outsiders. They naturally didn't need to leave too many people to guard the passages. They didn't encounter any obstructions. They broke through the passage and rushed towards 9 netherworld heaven. 9 netherworld heaven was the legendary nether underworld kingdom. It was filled with nether chi and was an extremely powerful heaven in the ancient era. The nether underworld kingdom was famous in the heaven domain and had countless experts. Later, it was invaded by the outsiders and suffered heavy casualties. The legendary Yellow Springs and Bridge of Helplessness were both in 9 netherworld heaven. Lu Ming had seen the Yellow Springs Bridge of Helplessness when he entered the Reincarnation Emperor's tomb. It was built by the 9 Lives demonic silkworm based on the Yellow Springs Bridge of Helplessness in 9 netherworld heaven. There were many ancient books among the archaic body cultivators that recorded many secrets. There were also records of 9 netherworld heaven's territories. After entering 9 netherworld heaven, they rushed towards the Yellow Springs. Along the way, they encountered some outsiders, but they were easily defeated. 9 netherworld heaven was very wide. Although it wasn't as large as the grand pure heaven domain, it wasn't much different. After flying for several days, they saw a large river running across the land. The river was so wide that they couldn't see the other side. The water in the river was yellow and sticky, and filled with a disgusting stench. This was the Yellow Springs. Legend had it that the water of the Yellow Springs had terrifying corrosive, devouring, and cursing powers. Once one fell into the Yellow Springs, only death would await. It was said that even heavenly emperors would be in danger if they fell into the Yellow Springs. No one knew how long the Yellow Springs were. It was true that no one knew. No one knew where the source was, and no one knew where it flowed to. This was because someone had followed the Yellow Spring all the way and eventually discovered that it flowed into the eternal void. Following the void, it would pass through the passage between the Taiching heaven domain and the Hunyuan heaven domain, which was the current battlefield. This was their hope. They wanted to follow the Yellow Springs and move forward. Kill. Beside the Yellow Springs, there was actually a dense crowd of outsiders gathered. At this moment, they were charging towards them. Not good. It seems like the outsiders have guessed that we're coming to the Yellow Springs and have gathered a large number of experts here. Someone's expression changed. Attack from the other side. A grand elder of the primordial body cultivators shouted, and everyone rushed in another direction. However, not long after, a large number of outsiders also charged over from that direction. Charge! A grand elder roared, and everyone rushed over. They were already at the edge of the Yellow Springs. Only by rushing over would they have hope. The experts from both sides clashed fiercely. On Lu Ming's side, those who were below the martial emperor level were all kept in the small world. Those who remained outside were all martial emperors and above. With some of the strongest body cultivator prime elders as the vanguard, they charged into the outsider army like a sharp blade. Countless non-humankind beings were killed and blasted apart. However, there were also experts among the outsiders. There were even heavenly emperors among them. Heavenly emperors were too terrifying. One attack from them was enough to destroy heaven and earth. Lu Ming's vanguard was immediately hindered, and their speed slowed down. Behind them, a large number of outsiders rushed over. Both sides were engaged in a bloody battle. Lu Ming roared, and he went into a frenzy. 9 types of laws covered Lu Ming's body. At the same time, Lu Ming activated his indestructible golden body. The indestructible golden body combined with Lu Ming's current physical strength to unleash boundless power. Lu Ming did not care about defense at all. Like a beast of war, he rushed into the crowd of outsiders and continuously punched with both fists. Every time he punched, at least a few members of the alien race would explode. As long as they were not martial emperors, regardless of their combat strength, they would be instantly killed by Lu Ming. This was the case even for 18th level true emperors. Right now, Lu Ming was truly invincible among true emperors. Bam, bam. Lu Ming had lost count of the number of outsiders he had killed. His body was bathed in their blood. Slowly, they broke through the defenses of the outsiders and reached the shore of Yellow Spring. "Bring out the heaven-piercing warship," a supreme elder shouted. At the same time, he waved his hand and a warship flew out, floating above Yellow Spring. "You guys control the ancestral battle physiques to defend against the outsiders. We will activate the heaven-piercing warship." A voice reverberated in all directions. Boom. Next, the supreme elder's body rumbled. A stream of blood rushed out and entered the heaven-piercing warship. Buzz. The heaven-piercing warship trembled and emitted a terrifying aura. At the same time, it rapidly grew in size. Without a powerful treasure, it was impossible to escape from the Yellow Springs. Once a person touched the water of Yellow Spring, only death awaited. Even a heavenly emperor would be in danger. Only by relying on the ancestral treasure of the primordial physique cultivators, the heaven-piercing warship, could one enter Yellow Spring and travel to the eternal void. Boom, boom. Following that, a few more supreme elders of the primordial physique cultivators activated their blood chi and poured it into the heaven-piercing warship. The heaven-piercing warship trembled more and more violently. Its entire body glowed and rapidly grew in size. "Stop them! Kill! Kill!" The outsiders roared. More outsiders rushed over from all directions. In particular, there were 5 or 6 outsiders who were shockingly powerful. They were all heavenly emperors. They walked through the air, releasing terrifying fluctuations. A single move blasted out, causing heaven and earth to collapse. They were powerful to an unimaginable degree. "Stop them!" Some of the elders of the primordial physique cultivators roared. They were no match for them, so they could only rely on the zombies. They controlled the zombies to charge forward. Some of the zombies had the combat power of a heavenly emperor. They resisted the heavenly emperors of the outsiders. However, they were outnumbered. They were suppressed as soon as they clashed. Bang, bang. Some of the heavenly emperor zombies were hit by the heavenly emperors and exploded in the air. However, they had no choice but to sacrifice the zombies to buy time for the supreme elders. Buzz. After a while, the heaven-piercing warship expanded to tens of thousands of meters in size and landed on the Yellow Spring River. "Hurry up and board the heaven-piercing warship. We'll cover you." A supreme elder roared and rushed over to fight the heavenly emperors of the outsiders. The other supreme elders also rushed over. As for the weaker ones, they rushed toward the heaven-piercing warship, especially those of the law system. Because there was a large population in their small worlds, the primordial physique cultivators protected them and let them board the heaven-piercing warship first. Lu Ming, Ren Chan, and the others also boarded the warship. Chapter 23:11. Retreat. The primordial body cultivator grand elders retreated as they fought. "Don't let them go, stop them." A foreign race heavenly emperor roared, his eyes emitting beams of destructive light, incomparably terrifying, blasting towards the body cultivator grand elders. The other foreign race heavenly emperors also launched fierce attacks. For a time, the body cultivator grand elders could not retreat to the ancient battleship. Among the primordial body cultivators, there was an old man, a peerless powerhouse, his combat power frighteningly high. Unfortunately, there was also such a powerhouse among the foreign races, stopping him. In the end, they had no choice but to let several powerful zombies launch suicidal attacks. Only then did they temporarily delay the other party. Several Grand Elders seized the opportunity and rushed onto the heaven-piercing battleship. However, several powerful zombies were stopped by the other party. Being besieged, their indestructible physical bodies were torn apart by the other party. Go! The heaven-piercing battleship rumbled, speeding towards the depths of the Yellow Spring. Stay! A total of 6 or 7 foreign races chased over, all of them Heavenly Emperor realm existences. They did not give up, erupting with terrifying attacks, wanting to destroy the heaven-piercing battleship and bury all of them in the Yellow Spring. However, the body cultivator Grand Elders joined forces and blocked the other party's attacks. Moreover, one of the strongest Grand Elders punched through space, blasting a Heavenly Emperor realm foreign race until he vomited large mouthfuls of blood, his body retreating wildly, falling towards the Yellow Spring River. The Yellow Spring River's waves rolled up, and a wave just happened to hit the foreign race Heavenly Emperor's body. That Heavenly Emperor screamed miserably, his body scurrying about in the sky, his originally burly body shriveled up rapidly. In the end, that Heavenly Emperor blocked the corrosion of the Yellow Spring water, but his aura withered, almost dying. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. The Yellow Spring water was indeed terrifying. Even a Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouse would be severely injured when hit by the Yellow Spring water waves. Just what was the origin of this Yellow Spring water? How was it formed? It was also too terrifying, right? Heavenly Emperors were standing at the pinnacle of this world. Although that foreign race Heavenly Emperor might just be an ordinary Heavenly Emperor, but some Yellow Spring water could seriously injure him, it was too shocking. The other foreign race Heavenly Emperors all revealed a look of dread, not daring to pursue. If he was blasted into the Yellow Springs River, the consequences would be unpredictable. Just being hit by the waves, a Heavenly Emperor was severely injured. If he directly fell into the Yellow Springs River, wouldn't it be a dead end? The outsiders could only watch as the Heavenspan battleship sailed into the depths of the Yellow Springs. Everyone let out a long sigh of relief. Finally, they got rid of the non-humankind beings. At the same time, they were secretly surprised. They didn't know what material the heaven-piercing battleship was made of, but it could sail on the Yellow Springs River without being damaged by the water. A Grand Elder of the archaic body cultivators had told him that the heaven-piercing battleship had been found by the ancestors of the archaic body cultivators in an ancient ruin. Everyone could only let their imaginations run wild. Just what kind of ruins could lead to a treasure like the heaven-piercing battleship? The heaven-connecting battleship was huge. It sailed in the Yellow Springs River, following the flow of the river. It was unknown where it would end up. Everyone could only wait patiently. A month later, the heaven-piercing battleship had traveled a long distance. Up ahead, there was nothing but emptiness. They had already reached the border of the 9 nether heaven. However, the Yellow Springs River didn't end. Instead, it flowed directly into the emptiness. A river that wasn't on the ground, but instead flowed into the emptiness. It was truly shocking. Everyone stared blankly at the river, somewhat dazed. They couldn't help but marvel at the wonders of the world. The heaven-piercing battleship sailed along the Yellow Springs River into the emptiness. They looked around and found that they were surrounded by a dark void. The Yellow Springs River was like a passageway that led to an unknown destination. At this point, all the Grand Elders were in high spirits. According to the ancient records, the Yellow Springs River would pass through the battlefield between the Taiching Heaven Domain and the Hunyuan Heaven Domain. They had to concentrate and seize a fleeting opportunity to rush out. Time passed day by day. They didn't know how far they had traveled in the dark. It was silent, as if it was eternal. Look, what's that? Someone suddenly exclaimed and looked ahead in surprise. The others also looked over. That's... At one glance, Lu Ming was taken aback. His eyes widened involuntarily. In front of the Yellow Springs River, an unknown distance away, was a huge mountain. The mountain loomed in front of them, but no one could be mistaken. It was really a huge mountain. A huge mountain actually appeared on the Yellow Springs River. "I've never heard of it before," an elder exclaimed. He was a grand elder of the body cultivation sect, but he had never heard of such a thing. There was no such thing in the rumors about the Yellow Springs River in the past. There was a huge mountain on the Yellow Springs River? The heaven-piercing battleship kept moving forward, but the huge mountain still hovered in front of them. It didn't seem to be closing the distance at all. Could that be the end of the Yellow Springs? Someone muttered to himself. The others were shocked. The end of the Yellow Springs was a huge mountain? This sounded really inconceivable. "We're here." A grand elder roared. His blood surged as he threw a punch at the space to his right. The power of this punch was shockingly strong. When the punch was thrown out, the space exploded continuously as if it was made of paper. At the same time, the other supreme elders also made their moves, continuously blasting in that direction. With so many experts attacking at the same time, the power was terrifying. The space was completely torn apart, allowing them to see the situation outside. Outside was a land of deathly stillness. "Battlefield, it's that battlefield." Lu Ming was overjoyed. He could tell that it was the battlefield between the Taiching Heavenly Domain and the Hunyuan Heavenly Domain. The Yellow Springs River would indeed pass by the battlefield between the Taiching and Hunyuan Heavenly Domains. The space between here and the battlefield was very thin, and several Grand Elders had forcibly blasted it apart. "Let's go!" A Grand Elder piloted the heaven-piercing battleship towards the spatial gap. The spatial gap was closing on its own. The other Grand Elders continued to bombard the battleship to open the spatial gap. Rumble! The heaven-piercing battleship successfully left the Yellow Springs River and charged towards the spatial gap. Soon after, the heaven-piercing battleship rushed out of the spatial gap with a rumble and landed on a piece of land, kicking up a cloud of dust. "We're back!" Lu Ming carefully sensed his surroundings, and his face lit up with joy. This was definitely the battlefield. After taking a big detour, Lu Ming had returned to the battlefield again, and he had brought back a large group of experts. With the addition of this group of body cultivators, 2 world cities' strength would increase significantly. Little brother Lu Ming will follow you from now on. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.